Through the prayers of Holy Fathers with Jesus Christ, for God of mercy, thou and save us. Amen. Good evening. For those new here, my name is Father Joseph Swaden. I've worked in Orthodox apologetics since 1998, and I'm the founder of NFTU True Orthodox and Ecumenical News since 2004. We've been in the apologetic space on Facebook since 2016 and on YouTube since 2018. And if you appreciate what we do here, please like and subscribe. Today we do our live Q&A session where you can get your questions answered live as well as member-requested video reviews. So let's get started. And as always, if you want to jump on stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So let's see what we've got here in terms of opening comments. TTC says, great thumbnail, LOL. Sava says, good evening, everyone. Sunrise says, greetings. Sava says, Father bless. May God bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Wasno says, good evening as a member. It appears on the screen. If you'd like your comments to appear on the screen, either A, become a member, B, send a super chat, or C, go to the eufrosinoscafe.com. The eufrosinoscafe.com is a forum, communications. We are building it up so that it can be a full communication stop, and that's part of the reason why I titled this particular stream the Griftstream. Two things you may have noticed about my choice of thumbnail. I noticed that DTC noticed we had the Andrew Tate drawing, and his requesting $400 for the cafe. So basically, I'm going to explain what's going on with that. The idea is this: the cafe has been growing; it's been seeing more and more participation. We're trying a new way of ending the spam bots. Had to take care of about 200 of them today. And so basically, but communications are still going. What we're looking for, though, is improving the chat, because right now we have two different kinds of chat systems available. You'll notice that this is the chat screen, which is, you just click on chat at the top. And those are the ones that you can get live. But then we also have this other kind of chat here that's kind of like a private chat, but there's actually an upgrade for it where effectively it would become a global chat like the one we have now, so we could actually stream that instead, where people could not only do regular chats but do video chats, file transfers, effectively giving it the same kind of abilities that certain communication sites like Discord and Messenger already have, but that it would be within our aegis. It would be a true Orthodox, effectively social server that could be used, and people could create subservers, subgroups, so on. All these things are available, but they have a cost. So that is why I am begging for money, and why I put Andrew Tate there. I think I explained it in the description, but basically some Andrew Tate fan got mad at me for attacking his hero on Twitter, and so I invited him to this stream. Now, that said, I invited him to the stream last week. It was like Monday or Tuesday night or something. So he may have just forgotten, which would be really too bad. And so, hopefully I'll just maybe repost it live. So hopefully he notices it, the Tate fan guy, and will be happy to join us to tell us why Andrew Tate is, the greatest of all of, the peoples of the grifters. I don't know what to even call them at this point, but let me see if I can find my own post, and I will repost it because we are live. And so let's do that. Let's see if we can get some angry people who want to challenge us. There's so many people like talking about Orthodoxy negatively, and there's so many people like talking about true Orthodoxy negatively, that I, for one, would love to see if these people could actually what the heck? Oh, okay. So let me see here. So I've already posted it, but I'm going to repost it now. And because it is Gab, I am going to say going live now. And so, all right. So with that being done, looks like, basically what we've got going on here is, some basic stuff. Hopefully we do see him. Hopefully some Tate supporter comes and decides to challenge us on this. But the problem is, I think that there's a lot of overlap that we're seeing. A lot of people who came into Orthodoxy came in kind of through Grifterville, whether it's Tate or some other person, because Tate was, from what I remember, for a short while he was posing as an Eastern Orthodox. I think his brother still does, and so basically, before he decided to join the religion of peace, Muslims are also welcome to argue here. Basically, we're really okay with arguing with just about anyone, to discuss Orthodoxy, because really the great question that always comes up: what is what's your objection to joining the Orthodox Church? Can produce a variety of answers. Okay, we've got Saba coming on the stage. Welcome, Saba. How are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm experimenting with dark mode on the StreamYard. Apparently, they added dark mode finally. And then they told me that StreamYard was about to go up to like $45 a month for the basic. So if you need another reason for me to ask about grifting, it's because the price of StreamYard just went up by like $15 a month. So putting that aside, putting the cafe aside, which would be great, I'd really like to see this happen, so that it can improve it as a communications platform. Yeah, even StreamYard is costing more. So me begging for money is not going to be something that I plan to stop doing anytime soon. That it doesn't mean it's a guarantee of success. So, but in any case, we'll see. We will see what happens. So let's see here. Did we have? Haven't been too many questions. If people want to ask questions, comments, etc., I know I saw one somewhere, so I'd like to get to that. I'm not going to address the Gab question that I got, because it was just basically, did you see this Israeli TV show? Yes, I did. It's horrible. It gets boring after a while. People want to talk about their favorite single subject, and I personally believe we can reach out to more people. Let me see here. Okay, and First Down says, hello, Father, it's Chino. Good to see you. Thank you for everything. No problem, Chino. And so basically, once again, if you'd like your comment on the screen, you have three choices. You can either you can put it in, become a member, and then your posts go on the screen. You can B, send in a super chat. We will put it up on the screen. Or C, go to the eufrosinoscafe.com, click on chat, and you will be right there on the screen with everyone in the background. So that is how we do it here. While we continue moving on, and I'm looking here, it's been a kind of a slow day for it's been a kind of a slow week for questions. Today is the feast of the Vladimir icon of the Theotokos. But unfortunately, according to Roman Catholics, New Calendarists, etc., let me see here. Orthodox was asked, Father, did you see the unshocking news about the EP? I believe I know what you're talking about, and we shall put that on the screen, because that is something that I think we can discuss. Let me just go back and find it. I assume you are talking about what the EP said in terms of celebrating with the Pope next year and how we can kind of make that permanent. So ironically, it's now the Roman Catholics who will move over to the quote-unquote revised Julian /papal /papalish calendar, and they'll all agree to that so they can all celebrate together. Let me see here. And what's this? I got something. Let me see here. Yes. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Let me see here. Trying to find it where it is, because yeah. Hold on. Maybe that will produce something. Okay, that produces the wrong thing. Let me see here. I'm looking for the article, by the way. If looking for the article. Basically, they're going to try to do, since they're doing a joint. The calendars are joint next year. Really, all that would matter is that the Roman Catholics would have to change their Paschalion, which, frankly, if you know anything about your lockstep Roman Catholics, is that outside of Christmas and Easter, they don't know what day anything is anyway. So that might actually be more efficient to make their calendar exactly the same as the Roman Catholics. So let's take a look here. I am still trying to find it. Scrolling down. This is a pain. Let me think who might have it. Give me a moment. There are a few people that post certain things carefully. Okay, and I'm not seeing them right now. Okay, so let's try here. Let's see here. Okay, Heresy of Humanism, Hope of the West. I'm trying to see if Roca Remnant put it up, because they're usually pretty fast about stuff like that too. Okay. Hold on. And so my goal is this. If we can get to the 400... Oh, you posted it in Cafe Chat. Hold on. Let me take a look. Let me take your thing here. Aha. Okay. 1 second as I go to the amazing Cafe Chat and we pull it up. And by the way, if we do make it to the $400 in donations for the cafe, I will install it live and we will actually put everything on live. Okay, so let's see here. Patriarch Bartholomew calls for unified Orthodox Western Pascha according to Orthodox Paschalion. And so both Western and Orthodox and Western Christians will celebrate Pascha Easter on April 20th next year, which should serve as the beginning of the establishment of a common date from henceforth. And so they held their latest synexis in Istanbul, and Patriarch Bartholomew spoke about the 1700th anniversary of Nicaea. And so effectively, what this would do would mean that the Roman Catholics change their Paschalion, which frankly they don't care too much about anyway, and then the Minaeon, which was changed to the Roman Catholic Minaeon, will now be, let me see here, what is going on? Unseen Warfare reposed? Hold on, what is going on here? Can you tell me anything about St. Philip of New York banning the Western Rite? Heard about this? It was the Synod. It's if you look in the journal of the ROCOR, they have the statement. I've already covered it last week with the fact that this was around the time of the introduction of the Anglican liturgies into the Antiochians, and ROCOR just banned the use of the Western Rite generally. So, yeah. But what is the repose thing? Let's see. Repose. Vault Boy asks, what would you personally think about Metropolitan Raphael Prokopiev Serabim Motovilov, with whom your bishop can celebrated many times in Avlona? I've met him. He's very nice. He has a YouTube channel, and he does almost daily homilies from his daily services. You can hear the sermons, and you can actually translate them using YouTube CC function, and it'll show up in English. So, hopefully you can find something really bad he says in there, some big heretical thing, but I don't think you will.
I don't know if me, but our synod, the synod with the Russian Orthodox Autonomous Church, we're on very good terms with Metropolitan Seraphim Motovilov. Yeah. We've received him in Suzda before as basically a guest of honor. We have an informal communion agreement with him. We're very close to the Synod of Metropolitan Seraphim.
Yeah, in Russia. And let me see here. And it's a good thing. I personally think I happen to have a lot of respect for both synods. And let me see. Beyond me, I just got here. Ascender, is there any grace left in world orthodoxy? Is it doomed? I hate this question. I like it's my least favorite question, and I get it at least once every. What would you say, Sava? Like every 3 shows, somebody asks this question.
It seems like the last show someone asked about it, and I feel like someone probably asked the question the show before that. It's like every show now.
Right, almost. Well, that just shows that there are more people interested in the question, and really, this is a big problem. Because to me, it sounds like what we're seeing is a lot of kind of coping, and really you want a pat on the shoulders saying it's okay, your priest is okay, your bishops are okay. Your bishops are ecumenists. There's no way around that. That's done and over with. All of them. The priests might be personally nice people. I've had this discussion many times. I'm sure that there are good priests in World Orthodoxy. I know for a fact there are. But that doesn't change the fact that ecclesiologically, if the bishop is a heretic, you are under a heretical bishop, period. That's it. That is your diocese's confession of faith. And there's lots of other bishops who are true Orthodox, probably near you, or probably someone you can communicate with. And eventually you have got to stop saying, please let my synod be okay. Because we don't make the decision as to whether your synod is okay. God does by declaring the Orthodox faith. And when people like this, like Patriarch Bartholomew here, who spit upon the traditions and teachings of Orthodoxy, you should be inclined to leave. The canons require the faithful to flee from heretical bishops, not to make excuses for heretical bishops. And the fact that you are making excuses for heretical bishops eventually falls on you. I know I'm being a little bit harsh there, but the simple reality is the more you keep saying, please let there be grace in World Orthodoxy, even though we're committing all sorts of horrible heresies, you become a partaker eventually. I cannot stress this enough. It's unfortunate, and I don't mean to be painful or mean, but that's the truth. Vaultboy says, Rak Maklikov is the worst bishop that I've ever met. I've met Bishop Andre. There have been a lot worse. Don't worry. I don't think he's that bad. Wasna, Ascender, as Aminam Drain once said about MP, we highly doubt it. If you know about true Orthodoxy, but you stay in World Orthodoxy, you're putting God to the test. Absolutely correct. Putting God to the test by staying yoked to heretics is playing a very dangerous game with the soul. Not worth it. Very true. Wasna, very correct. As always, anyone can jump on the stream just by clicking on the link at the top of the chat and ask your question. Bring up your challenge. Bring up your comment. Tell us how Andrew Tate is based so that we can make fun of you. But whatever you want to do, click on the link and join in. I was not surprised when I saw a picture. Oh, wait, can't put that up, but I'll read it. I was not surprised when I saw a picture of Bart at the Weft. He had his own booth, as did the Pope. None of the World Orthodox rejoinder arguments seem strong enough. Numbers don't prove anything. Maybe I need to up and move, but right now my parents caretaker. Call a bishop. You don't have to redo your entire life. Just figure out where you are. Maybe there's a true Orthodox church near you. You don't have to abandon your parents. That's still a responsibility of yours. The church does not tell you to abandon your parents. I'm pretty sure there's something in the gospel about that. You can't do that. So you'll have to figure out something else. Not look for reasons why this is impossible, but try to make it work within your situation. So don't make it a binary of, well, take care of my parents, leave work, stay in World Orthodoxy, or B, join the true Orthodox and abandon my family. No one's asking you to do that. But that's something you're going to have to figure out. Let me see here. If I sound like I'm a little... Oh, go ahead, Saba.
Let's say to that Voltboy guy who said that Budik Andrei is a terrible bishop. I mean, at least he's not a heretic. So,
well, that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Better than World Orthodox bishops, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I don't know if he was. I don't know if he's from Rocor MP, but if he is, well, that's his own bad choice. Okay, so we're done with that article. So let's go back there and put back the Amazing Cafe and see if we've got anything new in the chat. So here we are, and let me see. Okay, nothing new yet. If you want to get your message on the screen, just send a super chat and/or become a member and/or write in the cafe on the chat at afrosynoxcafe.com. Let me see. Go to a Divine Liturgy says, I go to a Greek Orthodox church. What church should I go to then? I would recommend going to a true Greek Orthodox church. It's what you're used to. I mean, if there's only a true Russian Orthodox church near you, it's going to be a little different. But I think the differences. You may not. It's going to be different music, basically. So, and maybe different iconography. But outside of that, I mean, there are true Orthodox Greek churches, lots of them, all over the country, and all over Greece. So wherever there are Greeks, there are usually true Orthodox somewhere. You just have to find them. Ortho just says there might be a mission around you, Ascender. There very well may be a mission around you. Don't assume that there isn't. You'd be surprised at how many there are. So it's good to see we've got a number of viewers today. This is great. Again, if you want to call in and you want to have a question, make a comment, make a challenge, we are live. Click on the link at the top of the chat and pop on. We'll be glad to have you. One thing we don't fear here is the dialogue. And so let's see here, because the truth of the matter is we're kind of addressing the world is what it comes down to. And we've got to kind of reach out to everyone we can. If there are people who are telling you why they don't want to become Orthodox, etc., send them here. If there are people trying to convince you of Protestantism or Roman Catholicism or the Mormonism or the Islam, send them here. We have no problem with answering any of these groups. If you want to talk about how we're evil schismatics, etc., and we're not your YouTube cup of tea, jump on and tell us why. Okay, and so go to a divine liturgy. Says, respectfully, Jesus was brown-skinned or more lighter. I don't have. I look at him like he's on the icon. It's good enough for me. And obviously he was in the Middle East, so you can't even accurately say that Jesus stayed the same color as a human, because in the Middle East it's hot and there's lots of sunlight and people tan. So he could have been slightly lighter, slightly darker, it just depending on the time of year. It just doesn't it doesn't seem like there's not much of an argument there, and I don't understand why people go for that. But in any case, let's take a look and let's see here. So once again, you know what I'm going to do? Let's check here. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to see if we can see if there's someone we can. Let's see. Someone did ask me a question earlier. It was Fuzzy3125 asked this question. Said, what about LD Ephraim? He was clearly against ecumenism and had a massive influence. We've covered Elder Ephraim, I think, more than enough on the show, where we all know the answer. But to reiterate, Elder Ephraim basically recommended ecumenist hierarchs to follow, and so effectively he misled his people. No illusion of holiness is taking that away. Okay, Black Sheep said, unseen warfare. I saw a comment about Gregory's wife departing. I was merely trying to help. In Orthodoxy, we say repose because we believe they're only sleeping or at rest. You can say departed. And I know that it's horrifying, but people do use the word death in Orthodoxy. Not often. It's not considered the most polite way, but I don't think we're going to. I don't think splitting hairs over language is worthwhile. Ortho just says, I do have a question. Elder Joseph the Hesychast. He is venerated in the New Calendar churches. We seem to hold him, at least Metropolitan Demetrius seems to hold him in some regard. Yes, most true Orthodox hold him in some regard. Most New Calendarists have to alter his life story, as with various other saints, Saint Nectarios, etc. They're venerating a false version of Saint Joseph, but they believe it's the true one, and it's just a question of getting the facts right to them. So that would be my recommendation to you.
Sorry. So we venerate Saint Joseph. Like, for example, Hakna has icons of him, and I think he just asked where can I find the true Orthodox perspective of him. I'd honestly suggest talking to the people at HTM, because Father Pantaleimon knew Elder Joseph quite well. And I also suggest talking to the people of the St. John's Monastery at the St. Gregory Palamas Monastery, because back in the day, Etna published an article where they talked about St. Joseph the Hesychast. because he was true Orthodox. They have to basically lie and edit his life to say that he wasn't.
And we should also point out, Sunrise pointed out the Metropolitan Demetrius has a 30-minute video talking about Elder Joseph. That's good. That's on the Orthodox Tradition YouTube channel. Unseen Warfare says you'll find some threads about him. I think it's called the Saints New Calendarist Claim on the forum. That is on the Afrosinos Cafe forum. You can type that in the search and you'll find it. Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, what is up? I don't know, man. I don't know. Things are crazy. We're trying to see if we can raise money to see if we can turn the cafe into full-featured, super-powered kind of, video, full chatting experience thing. And so, okay, Orthodox Wazna says the sky. Blue Hill says the ceiling, usually. Okay, so we've got jokes. Let me see here. What are we doing now? Let's see. Give me just one moment. I'll just check something real quick. Hold on.
I guess he explained he was asking what is up. I got stung in the eye by a yellow jacket a few hours ago. That's why I'm so itchy.
Oh, so, I'm sorry to hear this.
It's been one of those days.
Oh, wow. That's terrible. I feel bad. Let me see here. Okay. But in any case, Reader John says, your blessing, may God bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Oh, okay, and Father, I guess, Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, FJS, St. Joseph Petrograd book is done, coming November, FTO. Lots of abbreviations there. Not sure what those are, but I think what he's talking about is the fact that the work on St. Philaret, his life and works, is done. Last I checked, I think I saw someone spreading a picture from his Telegram showing that the publisher copy is ready. St. Joseph of Petrograd's live translation. Oh, FYI. Okay. So St. Joseph of Petrograd's work is, oh, wow. Okay, Wazna says, I got stung ago in the eye by a yellow jacket, minutes few. Okay.
What?
So here's,
Wait, did he also get stuck in the eye by a yellow jacket?
I don't know. Maybe he's just either that or you just. I have to re-listen, and maybe he just kind of spoke like Yoda or something. Let's see here. Joshua Max says, last week you gave an okay for a listener to visit a Matthew White parish in Philly, but you also approved the GOCK. Can you elaborate how you approve of both? Do you think one is more right? To the last question, don't have an answer because I'm not with the GOCK or the Matthewites. To the first question, is that okay? Well, he said he was in Philly, and that's the closest people that are true Orthodox. So that's what is okay for me. Now, we do know of people in the Philly area who actually travel up to the Abbey. So if they are interested in going to the Abbey, we can work that out, reach out to me privately. But if they're the main true Orthodox church in Philly, why would I not tell people to go there? Like, I don't know. And let me see here. I can't find the article, but I thought I read somewhere that Elder Sophrony of Essex, like Patriarch Bartholomew, he had a few problems, Elder Sophrony did, unfortunately, as we are, one of them, I saw his almost wholesale endorsement of ecumenism. Yeah, he just, that's an elder I have no interest in.
Oh, Father, do you know about that one story with, I think her name was Mother Mary? Mariam, she was with the Macarian Synod, or she joined the Macarian Synod later, but she met Sophrony like in the 1980s, I think. Do you know about that story? So basically, they had it was, I think Father Panteleimon might have been there. Father Panteleimon, HCM, he was there with this Mother Mary from Greece, and they went and visited Sophrony of Essex because I think they were there to visit someone else that they knew.
Okay.
And they were talking with Sophrony, and basically they're asking why he was with the ecumenical patriarchates when they're in heresy. And he started getting upset with them. He basically said something along the lines of, after I repose, you're going to see the spiritual heights I attained.
Oh, boy,
so,
wow.
From the very beginning, they knew he was going to be made he knew he was going to be made some sort of fake saint, fake elder with these people. So
yeah. What are you going to do? Let me see here. Vault Boy asks, any info on Stephen and A.M. background of this false succession from the non-existing Synod of the Diaspora by Timotheus Athanasi that originated from some Uniate Joachim Suris? Who do these people represent? I think the answer is embedded in your question there, Vault Boy. They represent nobody. They represent nobody except themselves. Unfortunately, there's the history of vagantism in the United States is rich and diverse, and that is a part of it. But outside of historical research, it's not really worth anything. Blue Hill says, I started twitching because you guys, that's because I put that up. Apparently, the Yellow Jacket continues to attack. Yeah, Unseen Warfare says, Soproni supposedly told someone, watch, they'll make me a saint when talking about the new calendars, and they did. Same story I heard. That's wild. Yeah, I'm not sure that someone on X said Sophoni said common prayer was okay with non-Orthodox. Apparently, from a letter of his, there is no surprise there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He claimed that Hare Krishnas could be saved in one letter I saw. In another letter, he claimed that Jews could be saved. He was just a full-blown universalist, originist, perennialist type.
Ecumenist. Yeah, wow. Crazy.
Speaking
of the... Okay, I see that... Matthew Fisher says, speaking of the Macarian Synod, do they have a website? They do. I don't know if I have it on my thing. I should. Let me just...
The Homologios website, yes?
No. There's a new one. They're over the internet ban thing now. Give me just a second. Because that was the reason Homologitas came out, was because at the time, the Lamian Synod was very suspicious of the internet. And so, no, but they have since created a site. I'm looking for it.
They have a YouTube channel, Genuine Orthodoxy, where Archbishop Makarios, Metropolitan Makarios, and Father Deacon Eranimos, they publish things on there.
Well, yeah, and there's actually a link there. So I'm going to go to that right now. All right, I think this is the one. Yeah, okay, this might be it. And we're going to just go to 6 more links. Website, English. Okay, here's the website in Greek. I'm going to put it in the cafe just so you can see it. It is ec.goc. Oh, I guess I have to put the HTTPS on it for it to be a working link. Hold on. Okay, and I think this should do it. That's the Greek website. There are also various English websites. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go back here. And let me see here if that worked. If not, I'm going to probably have to go to the English one. Okay, this is the one for Canada, basically. Okay, it looks like they might have an issue with their DNS. That one's not working. This is the one for Canada, and so they don't really have any U.S. parishes. As you can see here, because no one has... Okay, let's see. Okay, we're getting more comments.
The convent in Canada has its own website. I just emailed them today. I think it's like htc.com or something.
All right. So Frony said, yeah, we read that. That's wild. Listen to the contemporary saints. Yes, that would. Yeah, of course. They're including all the guys that are saying everything they want. Whoa. Wait. Oh no, he's okay. Not surprised, since it wasn't long ago. Metropolitan Neophytus, champion of Orthodoxy, had to ask Elder Gabriel of Mount Athos if praying with vested heterodox during a vesperal service is common prayer. Yeah, that link didn't work. Try the second one, and unfortunately, there may be one thing I will say is this: ever since HTTPS, websites have been more of a pain to work with. To give you an idea, I didn't know it, but I guess the cafe was down some part of Saturday and possibly even part of Friday because of HTTPS issues. So we wrote the webmaster. He got to work on it. It's fixed. So it's working now. That's why you can see it on the screen. But those HTTPS issues will sneak up on you. So it's possible that their site's going to be right back up soon. So just hold on to the link. Okay. Orthodox Wazna says, Itauche Savo, Nadam Sidan, Yeteko, Vite, Volve. Interesting.
You try that? That was a...
Okay, I'm not sure. So swimming in the
No, he says he hopes my eye gets better. That's what he's saying.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't.
It's
My
Serbian.
Russian
It's
is
not
so.
Russian.
Yeah,
It's
I was
Serbian.
gonna. I know. That's why I was like, "What kind of letter is this?" It looks like a yeah, but it's crossed on the top.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
J. That's a J.
All right. Okay. Well, that shows how good my Slavic languages are. They have been failing me. I should probably get back into reading Russian again, so I sound more intelligent. Let's see here. Let's see what else is going on. So thank you for your donation, Wazna. And people can, if they, choose to super chat and or become a member, get your comments on the screen, or just go to the orthodoxcafe.com and sign up so that you can appear on the chat. And so let's see here. But our giant goal is, of course, 400, because we are trying to upgrade the cafe to new levels unforeseen. Okay, on another question for tonight. Comment about Macarius' stealing of Lona's bishops ex-Monophysite Moses and Nectarios from Gregory, and about Gregory's ex-bishop Ambrose Moran. There's not much to say. Archbishop Moses left the Oblona Synod, went to the Macarian Synod, does not like us. Oh well. Nectarios from Gregory. I didn't know Nectarios had anyone. I didn't know Gregory had anyone besides his fellow bishop, but I guess he made another bishop, which would have been uncanonical considering the nature of Father George's or Bishop John's consecration. So I'm assuming they had to do a hitothonia on him. And about Gregory's ex-bishop Ambrose Moran, I mean, his stuff is on YouTube where he became a uniate again and stuff like that. That's all old stuff.
No, he's a sedevacantist. He's not even a unionate. He's like some sedevacantist bishop
right.
now.
Well, he used to be a uniate. Valdboy, did he receive ordination even from uniates, Cardinal Slipier, or that's also? I have no idea which uniates or whatever he received. For all I know, he could have just been an independent. No idea. Is anyone from World Orthodoxy willing to have a debate with you on the Crucible? I know people want you to debate Dyer and Erhan. Do you not know how all this started? Give me a moment. Hold on. Just for fun. Give me just a moment here. Okay. One moment.
I noticed someone posted in the chat talk about listening to contemporary saints. And the Romanian Patriarchate, they recently said they're going to glorify this Arsenie Boca, this Father Arsenie Boca, who used to paint icons of Francis of Assisi and also of Wolfraf of Avea, who was an Arian bishop. So,
wow, yeah.
Yeah, I guess listen to the contemporary saints, they'll point Paisios, and Porphyrios and Porphyrios. But that also means Sophroni and Arsenie Boca and this Gabriella and Manathos, or not Manathos, this Gabriella in Greece. So, double-edged sword, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so let me just quickly share this tab to answer the question. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, a year ago I was on the Crucible. Kind of how this all started, and yeah, we did ask Jay Dyer and David Erhan, and as the host of the Crucible now know, David Erhan is willing to try to bury people so that they can never have their voices expressed, and basically on lies. And then, yeah, Resident Sleeper, Andrew, there was supposed to be a third debate. I actually also debated I debated 3 times, I guess, formally on the Crucible. And then, yeah, hardly anyone is willing to debate true Orthodox people. That is because we just know too much. They just ban them off their servers. Huh?
Subdeacon Nectarius in the chat once said that when he was still World Orthodox, he went on Father Michaelis' show, and he said that don't try to debate true Orthodox, you'll just lose.
He did. Don't try to debate true Orthodox because they're smarter than you. And then he became one.
If you try to argue in history, canons, saints, you're just going to lose. It's a pointless effort.
Yep. Resident Sleeper lost bad. Yeah, he did. Jonathan Britt, World Orthodox are a little afraid to debate for some reason. Well, as long as you're debating in Roman Catholic paradigms, it's okay. Chris Dabrowski says Erhan and Dyer actively avoid being seen in the same room as Tio in the context of a fair debate. That is correct. Yeah, are you saying the Council of 869 was Orthodox was just, lol, very sad. New Calendar Romanians got some Boris Montenegrin dissonance written recently, led by Emilian Prodan. He even ordained some hieromonk a bishop.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No.
I'm not surprised, but that's pretty low even for those people, because even Bartholomew doesn't want anything to do with the Montenegrins, but I guess the Romanians are willing to take it.
Didn't they approve the Montenegrins like last year, though? Like,
no, that was the Macedonians.
Oh, the Macedonians. Okay, sorry.
They approved the Macedonian church, and that was the Serbian Patriarchate. Just said, we're just not going to. They basically we're going to pretend there was never a schism.
Yeah, which is
the Montenegrins are led by this bishop who was deposed for sexual immorality and embezzling, and even Bartholomew said he'll never have anything to do with them. And if Bartholomew won't recognize your little schismatic group, that's pretty bad.
Well, Bartholomew only recognizes a schismatic group if you pay him. So that, as long as a Roman Catholic I recently debated used that same 869 talking point, they think the same as the Papists. Unseen Warfare says that is correct. Jonathan Britt says spot on, Chris. All right. And so let me see here. Again, we are here open for we're open here for any debate, challenges, questions. People want to put up unfortunate and claims about us instead. Let's get back here, and we're going to put the cafe back on. Jonathan says, spot on, Chris. It's very true. So let's see here. Again, add comments at euphrosinoscafe.com, send in a super chat, or become a member. So it's looking today like really there's not much going on in terms of people having questions. The big bold guy who was talking on behalf of Andrew Tate and was ready to come on the show, he never showed up. So that's pretty sad.
I feel like I was probably the last person in the world to figure out who Andrew Tate was. And I was like, oh, Andrew Tate's going to prison. I was like, who? I didn't know that was even popular, but
Well, he's still got his cult, and they're still pretty desperate to, do this their thing. So let me just see here. It looks like just taking a look here at something, but we're gonna see what we're doing. And so today the big deal. Okay. Let me see here. All right. So, oh wow. Okay. So $100 were just donated for the cafe. That means we only need $300 to do this. If we were to, let me see. Orthodox Wazna says, did Lulu take down Father Seraphim's letters? I don't keep track, but it wouldn't surprise me. Volboy says Boris can celebrate it in Kiev as an archimandrite with EC Metropolitan Emmanuel. OCU priest still can celebrating with them, so I don't know. Okay. It's again, once you're talking about new calendarist drama, I'm like more out of the loop. I realize that the new calendarists and the ecumenists are an absolute and complete mess right now. But again, not my circus, not my clowns. So anyway, whatever happened to that Rouge guy? Did he become Orthodox? I believe he went to the Rokor of some sort, maybe Rokor MP, maybe someplace else by now. I don't know.
Rouge is with the Ephraimite circles. He went to
that's a shame.
He went to St. Anthony's and he got played for the he went there before Ephraim died, and he got tricked into the whole fake clairvoyant thing, and now he thinks that they're the saints. So he's probably with some of the Ephraimite parishes, whoever they're with, since they're with everyone. But
okay, well, yeah, unfortunately, hold on. I am going to change the banner, just noting that wonderful. And also, unfortunately, while I do appreciate the $20 donation, donations towards getting the site live, the updates live, can't be YouTube because it takes 30 days for those to pay out, and they take 30%. So we're trying to see if we can get that 400 so that we can go live on screen tonight, right now, believe it or not. And so let me see here. I am going to change the fun banner, and I'm going to make it something different. So give me just a second. Hold on. See, I don't have like hit counters or stuff like that, so this is kind of as close as we have here. Okay, so I'm going to do this. There we go. Now it's we're not okay. No, we're not at 3. We're at 100 of $400 goal because technically we got 100. So let's see what we can do, because what are we trying to do here? Well, I'll show you. As you've probably noticed on the cafe, you have things like this where you can open up chats. There is a chat room. The only person who can make a chat room right now is me. It doesn't seem to be working too well. It's using a branded chat. The chat that we'd be upgrading to will allow for personal chats, but not just personal chats, but also file transfers, video calling. So we would be able to actually run streams from inside the cafe. So that's kind of a crazy thing, but the idea is moving on to, kind of, is it because I'm trying to compete with Discord? Maybe a little bit, but what is wrong with that? Discord is run by degenerates, and so we're not. Big deal. St. Anthony's in Arizona had Archbishop Elphidophorus there. Oh, yeah, don't they have like a giant picture of him?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's sad. Elder Ephraim got threatened and went back, chose the world. It is sad. It's unfortunate, but it's sad that Judas betrayed Christ, but there's nothing you can do about it now. Unfortunately. Let me see here. What else is going on? Do we have any angry comments on X and or on the Gab? Oh, wait, we might have an angry. Nope, just somebody liking. Oh, someone disliked the post. Coward. That's all you could do. No challenges. Yeah, okay. So basically, whether you're dealing, it would seem to me that something just popped. I'm trying to see what it was. Hold on. Doobie-doo. Okay. Okay, so there's new people that need to be activated. The schism in MOC was triggered by Mihailo's meeting with Metropolitan Seraphim Motobilov over a year ago, which caused Boris to get scared of KGB and Russian infiltration. Yeah. I don't think so. But people are going to say what they want, unfortunately. And right now, for example, there is a Rokor V parish that is under threat from Ukraine. Before the Ukraine war, they were considered a tool of U.S. state intelligence. Now that the Ukraine war has happened, they are considered a tool of Russian state intelligence. So everyone I don't like is KGB is the basic argument. That Russian Orthodox says, "Hello, Father, how are you? I'm fine, thank you, God bless you." And meanwhile, if you would allow me just a moment, okay? Sorry about that, putting all that stuff on the screen. I am going to try to put something else on the screen. I guess I'll just put this while I work on that. And hold on. Let me just go there and okay. Information. Okay. And then there's another account, which I don't personally seem to trust, I don't think. And that is, this just sounds not real. And so let's see here. The StreamYard should have something else on. Aha, someone has, I guess, given a super chat for 99. Doesn't say anything. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Where do you donate at? That is a great question, Reader John. Also, you are a member, so you get that on the screen. The way to donate, I always recommend. Here's the thing: if we're trying to get, and I'm going to add the dollar. I'm going to add the dollar first. So we're going to switch this over. And we're going to change it to 101. But to answer the question, there, Reader John. There's different ways you can do that. If you look on nftu.net, you can donate to NFTU via Cash App. No, it is okay, Sunrise. We really appreciate it. It's $1 closer. We only have $299 to go. If you are, you are on Cash App, go to nftu.net. We have a Cash App. We have PayPal. If you use crypto, we use BTC, LTC, and Monero. So any of those ways are instant, and my goal is to get to 400 so that we can actually upgrade the chat live on the cafe here. And so it's going to be, we're getting closer, and that's all that matters. And we're going to keep on trying is the key. And so let me see here. I'm going to keep going. Then Vault Boy says, I feel bad for Father Tikhon Kajunskin, Old Rokor, who's still there. His diocesan bishop is ex-Cyprianite Simeon Minihofer, nowadays bishop of Macedonian or Montenegrin Orthodox Church with Mihailo. I don't even know who Father Tikhon is with now. I honestly don't.
Father Tikhon is still with the Montenegrins, and I know him, and I legitimately don't understand why he's with them. When I talk to him about it, he just says, "Oh, well, it's close enough," and it's like, no, it really isn't. But I'll just pray for him. May God enlighten him.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is all we can do. Let me see here. Okay, so that's supposedly not. I'm gonna let it through. I'm doing approvals on the cafe. And I just got an email from no one other than Donald Trump asking for donations. I mean, I still don't understand why a billionaire needs donations. Okay, whoa, we've just got a donate. Okay, activate this account. And that I'm gonna if you want me to announce it, I will definitely do that. And so we just got another donation for $99. Give me just a moment, and I'm going to update that. So we are now at $200 of the $400 for the cafe. So this is great, guys. We are moving, and we're getting much closer. As I mentioned, so the whole purpose of the since it's to do this live, and we're going to try to update this live, we are going to update the cafe. Let's get back into the chat. And so let me see here. Okay. All right, so let's share this tab instead, and we're back. And we see that Unseen Warfare says fury and intense reactions have caused an incredible incident starring a Muslim politician from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Oh, have you heard about this one, Sava?
What's going on?
That's terrible. The reason for Ania Sameti, vice president of the Greens Party, originally from Bosnia and Herzegovina, posted on her social media accounts videos showing an image of Christ and the Virgin Mary to release stress, as she explains. Yeah, I'll share the image. Now people are actually getting terrified that, maybe it was AI because they don't want to admit their Muslim princess shot at a picture of Christ in the Theotokos. Give me just a moment.
I think I did hear about this, and average Bosniak moment.
Yeah, that's
that man. The Russian Orthodox is asking how to donate in chat.
Okay.
If you go to nftu.net.
Good question. Well, we got a few different things. Hold on. What's the donations for? What exactly is cafe? Well, I will show the top of this page. The cafe is the ufrosinoscafe.com. The Ufrosinos Cafe is a site that has existed since, I want to say, 1999. It has over 25 years, about 25 years worth of comments, commentary, articles, just a lot. Oh, okay, we got another activation. I am going to have to take this off the screen. Hold on a second while I pull up something else to, let me see here. Give me just a moment. Let's see. What do we have here? What can we put on that is peaceful? And okay, so okay, I see. Bishop Enoch is writing a lot more stuff on the traditional Western Orthodoxy side. Thank you for getting him over 200 followers as he continues putting that on. If you're wondering why I'm taking this off the main screen, it is because as people ask to be activated or join, I know that they're real. So that means I don't have to deal with the spam filters or anything like that. So I will just literally like activate you live if you are here. And so that is what I'm doing now. And then once I'm done with that, we go back to the chat, plus it up, minus it up. And so let's see here. All right. And so we are back and we're going live. Share this tab instead. And so let's see here. So that is the cafe. The cafe is a huge resource that we keep, which we are now working on improving to add, video, video chat, group chat, audio chats, basically giving it like, next level kind of communications capabilities, all for our true Orthodox Christians, so they don't have to deal with blue-haired moderators on Discord or communism. Let me see here. All right. And so, no, Sunrise again, thank you. So that's the answer to that Russian Orthodox. Sunrise asks, did you see Trump wish to Theotokos happy birthday today? Yes, I did. And everybody who is even semi-new calendar sympathetic was like, yay, Trump used our calendar. I'm like, yay, Trump's not Orthodox. So, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, okay. So was that $99 from somewhere else? Yes, it was. If they tell me they want to announce it, I'm not putting up names right now, but anyone who wants me to say, to announce the donation, I will gladly do that. Okay, we got another one. And this one's for $1.44. Okay, these are getting oddly specific. Give me a moment as I change that. So now it is $201.44. That's right. And I don't know, do they want me to announce it? I don't think they did. But in any case, so that's, let me see here. I'm going to just double check. And all right. Yeah, made a little cash down. That's cute. Let's see here. We've got donations. We got donations. And so let's continue on. So we are now at 201. No, stream already started. We're at 201.44 of $400 goal. Why don't I have a donations bar? Because I'm not that smart. And so it takes a lot of complicated stuff to sign up for and set up those things. And I have not figured any of them out yet because I'm not that smart. Let me see here. How do I tell which GOC is the true church? Well, if they hold the true Orthodox faith and they have a true succession of bishops, and they hold to, the Orthodox teaching, etc., that's really all you need. There's not like a whole bunch of GOC churches or true Orthodox churches that are completely like, they're like, everyone knows everyone. There's more community besides the external divisions. So your better question is to ask, are you close to a true Orthodox church? Let me see here. And someone said, hey, it's me, LOL. Okay, I guess that was, sorry about that. I hope I didn't read out the name. But that's good. Thank you for that $1.44. Really appreciate it. It does make our total look very official. Okay. Chris Dabrowski says there's nothing seriously wrong with their past confession of faith as Orthodox, and then they're all Orthodox according to the Catacomb Synod. Very true. Vaultboy said, I read somewhere that she's an Albanian Muslim, so that's true. What's true at the end is that she's a horrible person who shot at holy images and she should be in jail.
She's probably Sanjaki. She's probably from Sanjak. Sanjak is this region in Bosnia where like everyone there used to fight for Al Qaeda and the Mujahideen in the 1990s.
Well, she's not even wearing like a burqa or anything. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. Somebody else has just donated. Give me just one moment while I update. And this was a big one, guys. One moment. I'm going to put the new total up. We're now at 301.44 of the $400 goal for the Afrosynos Cafe, and we are going to purchase a license, update the system live, and see what happens if we can get this going. We are so close. We're actually at the third tier, and this is, I hate to say it, but the way the pricing works on this thing is terrible. You either have a choice. You can install video, which can only work on desktop, or you can make the site mobile friendly, so that people can use the cafe on their phones, but then they get no video. So you have to go for the top tier, which gives you all of those. And we are really, really close. We're very close. We are literally just $98.56 short of goal. So it is okay. Here's some Communist Canada money. Really appreciate that for the channel. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually do anything for the total, because it is going to YouTube, which means 30% gets taken off, and that gets sent to us later on in the month. We are aiming for, trying to get this done tonight. I think we can. I didn't think we could before, but now I totally believe it. Reader John says, you ain't got nothing on Jerry Lewis. Okay? Yeah, I know. He would have already been at 45,000 by now. And for kids with disabilities, I'm trying to raise money for a website. I mean, I'm not. I have no high expectations here. But let me see. Trump clearly a trad cath. Checkmate Orthodox. No, he could be an Anglican. They also follow the Gregorian calendar.
Trump is a Lutheran.
Well, maybe they have the Nativity of the Theotokos on their Roman calendar too. There's more than one Cyprian cannot be considered as a heretic. I don't know which Cyprian you're talking. You're talking about Cyprian Crawford. I don't consider him as a heretic.
Cyprian of Orthodox TV, which no, that's not. I don't think it works that way. That's kind of a false equivalency. But
Yeah,
sure.
No. Let me see. Smart Urbanism says, yeah, but when I was looking for jurisdictions in my area, they deemed each other uncanonical, and they can do that. The problem is that if you get right down to brass tacks, everybody has some uncanonical issues in their past, etc., that need to be ultimately resolved by a future generation. If they don't like each other, I don't know what to do. Maybe tell them to get along more. But I would just pick the one that's closer, or the one you feel more, personally called to. Sometimes there's a Greek church and a Russian church, and people have personal preferences. I wouldn't take it further than that. It's not your job to be the arbiter of all that is true Orthodoxy. It's not mine. It's technically our bishop's job, and even they're just handling their own flock. So I don't think about it. If you have multiple true Orthodox churches in your area, you should consider yourself blessed and start going to one. Let me see here. So once again, we're here at the $301.44 mark of 400. That's right. Who's going to donate next? Okay, no, I'm kidding. All right, I always wanted to be a play-by-play announcer back before soccer died in my heart. But in any case, let me see what we've got going on here. All right, so there's no new comments there. Again, this is the live Q&A. So if you call, yeah, I know, Sunrise has no Tate debate yet. Sad. He promised me one. These guys all talk a lot of trash until, rubber hits the road and you're like, here's the link. And they're like, mm-hmm. So, this is just add the Andrew Tate cult to the Roman Catholics and to the Protestants, to the Diorites, to guys who you put them in the subset of guys who talk big but don't do anything. And so that's fine. Not a worry. Some sling anathemas. I wouldn't have too political as an outlook on true Orthodoxy. Yeah, some do sling anathemas and they don't last very long. Unfortunately, they usually will sometimes die with the bishop. Okay, so just to shout out those who were super chat today. Wazna, thank you for that $20. Sunrise, thank you for that 99 cents. And Ortho Just, thank you for that $5. Again, we are at $301.44 of the $400 goal for the cafe. The goal is to make it full featured. We're really close. So glory to God, this is great. Let me see here. I know somebody had something they wanted me to review. Give me just a moment. I want to see this. Okay, alrighty. Let me see. Oh, it's UB Petrus. Somebody Father Simeon, well, I don't know if it was Father Simeon, but I think it was Father Simeon asked me to review UB Petrus's thing. And he spends all right, you know what? He spends a little bit on the Gregorian reforms. Let's see if he says anything worthwhile. That Russian Orthodox says, I think I signed up for the right cafe. I hope so. Let me see if there's any new people that I didn't approve yet. Nope, we're good. Let's go back down to the chat. And so, yeah, you probably did. Also, I had been discussing with the webmaster earlier, for those wondering, people have made the suggestion, why doesn't the cafe have merch? Specifically, they mentioned coffee. And we are actually working on something. I'm going to reach out to, I forget the name of the coffee company, but God willing, the cafe will actually have coffee so that it can be referred to as cafe. And then let me see here. Wait, I thought I wanted to leave World Orthodoxy because they violated the canons. No, canonical violations happen everywhere. We're not talking about canonical violations. We're talking about canonical violations in the service of flagrant and evil heresy. People have, I think it was best put, I don't know, I want to say it was Father Anthony Gavalis of blessed memory, but it might have been another Greek priest of blessed memory. But it was funny, or was it? It might have been him or Metropolitan Ephraim of Hockney. I don't remember, but it was an argument back in the 70s, and basically a new calendarist priest said to the effect of, you guys break the canons also. The canons say you can't commune people with a spoon. And so the priest's response was, well, that's fine. I'll make you a deal. I'll stop communing people with a spoon, and you stop communing heretics. Needless to say, that ended that discussion. So the point is that, yeah, that's unfortunate. But again, this is kind of, you have to have your kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Priorities in order. Breaking the canons in the service of a greater goal towards orthodoxy is not a sin. Breaking the canons for the sake of heresy or false teaching is a sin and shouldn't be done. Joshua Mass says San Ignacio coffee from Guatemala. Not sure I have the memory of a gnat, and so I will have to once again ask the same question tomorrow about that. And World Orthodox just say lay people can't read the canons. LOL. That's, that to me, that's just, there are becoming increasing non-negotiable differences between World Orthodox and True Orthodoxy as the years have gone by. When I first heard last year that people are being told not to read the canons in World Orthodoxy, I was shocked. I was like, why would they tell them not to read the canons? I mean, now it seems obvious to me, but I couldn't envision actually clergy forbidding lay people from reading canons. I'm like, I was reading the canons since before I was even Orthodox, so it doesn't even make sense to me. But that's kind of let me see here. Can someone link the cafe website? I can. Give me a moment. I'm going to put it in the chat here, in the YouTube chat, so people who are on the YouTube exclusively can reach out, and if they want to, they can join, so on and so forth. So we are now at the 301.44, a $400 goal for the cafe, which is kind of awesome. I didn't think we would get there this quickly, but wait. Hold on. Now I'm confused. Wait. No, now I'm confused. 99, 100, 300. Give me 1 second. I'm totally confused, guys, because I'm trying to count, and I'm becoming terrible at counting. Let me see here. And Vaultboy says, and what's Sava's take on the Artemites, led by Xenophon, calling themselves a catacomb church nowadays is quite cringy. You take that one while I work on math.
Yeah, I saw that comment. I was thinking, hell boy, how do I respond to that? So, personally, I guess he's asking me this because he knows I'm Serbian. He must have deduced that pretty quickly. This Vodika Artemie, yeah. So I don't know if you're familiar with the whole history with the Serbian Patriarchate and Patriarch German, and how from 1962 onward they left true Orthodoxy and went more and more towards World Orthodoxy, WCC, and whatnot. They had something similar to Sergianism in Serbia, where they had. I mean, first off, German was placed not by the Synod of the Serbian Church, but by Alexander Rankovic, who is the second command to Joseph Tito. And these Artemiites, Artemie was deposed from the Serbian church because they accused him of embezzling money or something. And he went to his see, which was in Kosovo, it was in Brigian, I believe. And he just refused to recognize his deposition. And he didn't say that the Serbian Patriarchate was in heresy. And he didn't want to join any of the true Orthodox churches. In fact, he was offered to join the true Orthodox. I think the Macarians, the Klinikites, the Kiprianites, they all went to him to try to get him to join, and he just refused to join any of them. He even said that they were all too extreme because they didn't recognize new calendarists as having grace. And they canonized a bunch of people, including this Hieromonk Charaton, I think, Hieromonk Charaton, who was killed by the KLA in 1998 or whatever. They're a weird group. They basically believe in almost a form of keepernism. They say that the World Orthodox still have grace, and they don't recognize the true Orthodox. In fact, they've condemned us multiple times. I don't think they claim to be a catacomb church. I mean, they're not in Russia, and Serbia didn't really have a catacomb church. I mean, you had non-commemorators like St. Lustin Popovic, but you didn't really have catacomnics there. I don't know. I thought when Artemie died that sort of group just faded out, but apparently they're now led by this Xenophon, who I have no idea who this guy is or where he came from. They're not true Orthodox.
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, they've kind of almost resurrected the kind of the whole, fighting from within thing. What they are discovering, unfortunately, is that they thought they were going to be a vanguard within World Orthodoxy, and World Orthodoxy just buried them. They're like, you go to like any English language thing that made a reference to them, it's like scrubbed. Like they just don't exist anymore. And so, ultimately, if they're going to want to continue to survive, they're going to have to adjust their ecclesiology to realize that World Orthodoxy is done for if they haven't figured it out yet, and they're going to have to deal with us eventually. That's all they can do. Mr. Browski says, not about violating the canon specifically, it's about violating the confession of the true faith. Yes, concerning the canons, true. If World Orthodox problem was purely canonical, then the problem wouldn't be as bad, but it's this problem of confessing a completely different faith. Chris continues, on the ground level, there's a lot of unofficial collaboration between the true Orthodox synods who on paper consider each other uncanonical since they still confess the true faith. Let me see here. Monk Simeon Sava, does Chornogora still have a Serbian patriarchate presence?
Yeah, I think there's still the majority there. The Montenegrin church isn't even that popular in Montenegro. I think I saw some study or something, some poll they did where like less than 20% of the population actually goes to the Montenegrin church. The Serbian Patriarchate is still the most popular church in Crna Gora, and I don't really think that's going to change anytime soon. They have some non-commemorative group there in Crna Gora. There's like this big monastery that's fighting from within, and they're trying to get people to come support them financially. But the Serbian Patriarchate still has the majority in Crna Gora.
Okay, and then that Russian Orthodox says, all right, now I'm registered on the right cafe. Vault Boy is pulling out all the cope. He writes, I have an authentic 1939 photo of Serbian priests in Kosovo celebrating a memorial with an RCC priest and a Jewish rabbi from Pristina. The photo is from the Jewish Museum in Belgrade. That's pretty sad. And then
that was after they murdered Patriarch Varnava. and they murdered Patriarch Barnaba because he refused to accept ecumenism. So I'm not surprised by that, honestly. That was Tsar Alexander the first in his whole machinations of trying to make the Serbian Patriarchy the ecumenist, but they eventually resisted it until
Well,
1962.
welcome, Father Boniface, and that's very true, Saba, very true. And then Waldboy then follows it up, of course, with the church was infiltrated with that spirit long before 1923 in the militios. No, you're wrong. You're really making it up. Unfortunately, you had to actually pull out evidence from 16 years after your claim to try to claim what you did beforehand. Chris Dabrowski says, sounds like a setup for a joke, and he's not wrong. An ecumenist, Roman Catholic, and a rabbi walk into a bar, or in this case, meet at a cemetery. Either way, I'm sure there could be a lot of jokes there. Once again, this is the live Q&A show. Anybody can call in, and if you want to ask questions, make comments, make a challenge, so on and so forth. Father Boniface, how are you doing today?
Good evening. Benedicite.
Benedicite. How's it going?
Good. Hanging in there. So, praising the Lord. Wonderful Lord's Day.
Amen.
And happy to have my church growing, and
nice. Excellent
looking forward
to
yeah. So, had a busy week, I've been doing some studies and some article writing, so that was a little bit challenging. And so anyway, good.
Great.
Happy.
That's great to hear. Atomic Lead says that's one person. I assume he's referring to the joke. And on the cafe, I guess they're wondering. Looks like there's talk of. Let me see here. In Trump's book, he mentions his Kabbalah teacher, same as Madonna's. Let me guess, Shmuley Botich. Is Shmuley Botich? Is that the guy, the Rabbi Shmuley, who debated with Candace Owens last week? Not sure. Anyway, but yeah, so it's kind of a crazy thing. Again, for people who are wondering what exactly is this devious financial goal, the goal is for the cafe. We want to upgrade it, and we will do it live if possible, so that it can have full video chat and full boteak. Okay, I was wrong. Fine. But the point is that we'll have full video chat capabilities, will be usable as a complete messenger, so on and so forth. So you don't have to go to sites run by blue-haired communists. You can create your groups, you can create your chats, your video chats. We could theoretically, and this is still mind-blowing, could actually stream this stream from the cafe. Meaning, well, actually that would mean we might not even need StreamYard, because then we could just use the cafe, and then I wouldn't have to pay the $45 a month because the prices just went up if you were watching the beginning of the stream, which is kind of upsetting, but at least I have dark mode. I don't know if paying an extra $15 a month, that's $180 a year, is worth dark mode. But again, Walt Boy says, aha, Shmuley, if I had to pick the best rabbi, my pick would be Yosef Mizrahi. I would like someone to debate him. I don't think I've ever seen any of these claimed Jewish apologists, including the one that's very famous. They don't really ever debate us directly. You can add them to, the Andrew Tate fans, the Jay Dyer fans, the Roman Catholics, the heavy Protestants. Like a lot of them are just avoiding us altogether. Hold on. Give me a moment. I am going to quickly go here. Hold on, please. Switching, share this tab instead. The approval process for the cafe is not actually immediate. And because of that, I have to physically approve it because we are attacked by many bots. So give me a moment. I've switched the screen to Bishop Enoch's most recent post on traditional Western Orthodoxy. Definitely worth reviewing while I go through the whole activation thing. Give me just a moment.
I do have a question for Father Boniface, and
Sure.
It's a normal question. What was for supper tonight, Father?
It will never end.
Maria didn't ask it first, so.
I had ground hamburger with plantain banana. Mixed my hamburger with some crushed tomato, and let me see. I think that was about. Oh, and some a pancake made with flax, sorghum, and cassava flour.
Well, you wanted to know, people. So, okay, let's share back, and we're back here.
You asked for you got
Eitan
it.
Yardeni. I don't know who that is, but in any case, give me a moment. Well, I kind of moved that there. So, all right. So, Sunrise says, I'm excited to see Bishop Enoch's video on the Antiochian Western Rite position. I will actually, God willing, be there for that one, as I think Father Boniface might be also. Because you've been kind of like second person on Bishop Enoch's channel most of the time, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's good. So we're looking forward to that. Vault Boy says Gregory made a good video on LP Forest. Yeah, but what does it matter if you're you recognize them as Orthodox? I mean, that's one thing that I don't get is that if you're going to defend the position of World Orthodoxy, you shouldn't be so amused by people dishonoring people you think are your hierarchs. We mock them because we don't take them seriously at all because we don't consider them real authorities. But if you considered them real authorities up to the Ukraine war, you should be ashamed of yourselves. It means you have no integrity. If you're a person who says, that like, I recognize up and Upwards up until, 4 years ago, then, the question is, you had so much respect for him before, or did you really never have respect for him at all now? Like, which is it? Either way, it doesn't say much towards your integrity. I will say that. Just consider that, Vault Boy. It's always better to be consistent internally than inconsistent. Let's see here. What we got? Again, this is the live Q&A. Anyone can call in and can join in just by clicking the link at the top of the chat. You can add comments.
Sorry. Earlier and whatnot. I did have a question. It was the one that I mentioned earlier. I guess I'll mention it here.
Sure.
Mainly because I just don't remember what will be the next time I will actually get to ask about it. But this Rokor D Synod under Metropolitan Damascene, or formerly under Metropolitan Damascene.
Yeah, he passed on, right?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about the Synod. Not really much good, but I understand I'm hearing from what are more than likely biased sources. And I've read their website, but there's things I can't corroborate on their website and whatnot. Did you have any personal interactions with the Damascenites or whatnot?
I'm going to be honest. Every interaction I've had with at least somebody involved in Metropolitan Damascene's group has been somebody who left. So, like Metropolitan Nicholas of Cincinnati was with them for a short while, and he left them because he thought they had problems. I know Bishop Gavrillo to some degree was involved with them. I know there are other people who have been involved with them and leave very quickly. Like they're shocked and horrified and scandalized for this, that, or other reason. And so, yeah.
The main thing is I know, I've heard multiple people now say that he was involved with Gregory Laurier, that he took in Laurier's nuns, quote unquote, and that he was involved with the Yugoslavia controversy in Russia, but I can't find too many details about this. And the Laurier
I feel like, unfortunately, I remember how I mentioned Laurierite name worship is sort of like a disease that passes. Like before it bothered our Metropolitan Seraphim, it did bother Metropolitan Damascene's group, but then it kind of died out on its own again. So it's possible that that's what happened there. I haven't heard anything of it. I mean, I don't even know who the name of the bishop is because we keep calling it, the Metropolitan Damascene group.
They're not led by this Archbishop Stefan in Petergrad, I believe. So
the Ispo people. Let me see here. Blue Hill says Gregory Colorado can make 1,000 good videos. He's still Gregory Colorado. Don't give him any attention. I had no idea which Gregory he was talking about. That Russian Orthodox asks, how can I go about planting seeds of Orthodoxy in my Southern Baptist friends? This can be answered either by fathers or Sava. Actually, well, Father Boniface, you're working deep in Protestant territory, and I know you have a lot to say on this kind of question. How does one plant seeds of Orthodoxy among people like with a Baptist background or a non-denom background where it's like minimalism?
Well, I went out there. I was out there on First Friday in Lakeland, and they have various evangelical churches. And so when I get in conversation with them, oftentimes I'll just say, you're in independent judgment. You're in violation of 2 Peter 1:20, where you're using private judgment, and that is a major problem. And then I say, the Apostle Paul said, the church is the pillar and ground of the truth. And so really, what I'm telling them is that they don't know their Bible. And I was just thinking about this issue today because of the message this morning that in Luke, chapter 19, verses 41 to 47, where Jesus is lamenting Jerusalem and how they did not know the ways of peace. Well, they didn't know the ways of peace because they were captured by the laws of men through the scribes and the Pharisees. And so therefore, really, Protestantism is the laws of men. So they do not know the peace of God, and they're promoting their own laws of men and their own traditions, and that means they are abusive and not in the true faith, not believing in the beauty of the faith of the church. And that would mean the Eucharist, along with the past, with the miracles of Christ, with his saints, and with the beauty of the whole testimony of the church today. And so I tell them, you're missing out on everything.
Wow.
And so again, I would really reiterate that they are following the laws of men. They think, like, for example, one fellow I talked to Friday night, oh, I'm sola gratia, sola scriptura, sola fides. And, actually you're lacking grace because you're missing out on the sacraments. And I was just thinking, that the Protestants are attacking the sacraments because they don't want anything visible. They don't want the visible garb. I'm wearing a cassock at this event. The pastor that I met, the pastors that I met, they're in regular clothes, and so they make no distinction because they've leveled the playground. They're democratic in their theology and in their thinking. They are of the people, basically, of the people, by the people, for the people. They say they're of God, but actually they're a mix of people's opinions. And so, you have to have some literature and give it to them or engage them and just say that the Orthodox Church is contrary to, it's the original church, and we don't agree with Catholics either. And you can say that the Protestant Church is an offshoot of the Catholic Church. Because actually, when we were I was reviewing the controversy over Hildebrand. Hildebrand was exercising private judgment to the maximum because he went out on his own, proclaimed himself to be the ruler of the world and the Pope of over all creation. And that's his own personal opinion because the other churches were saying you're a heretic. And so Rome really birthed private judgment. And so I tell people, we don't agree with Rome either. And so we hold Martin Luther accountable and we hold Calvin accountable. So I don't know if, the person who's asking the question, I hope that this is helping some, but you have to know just a couple of those verses and pound them across. And Jesus said, I use this too Friday night. Jesus said, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life within you. And then the Protestants always say, they use the idea of, this is my body, do this in remembrance of me. And so I tell them, okay, we do it in remembrance of Christ. Now, what's that first sentence say? Because they gloss over it. I say, look, this is a declarative sentence. He is saying this is his body. And then they'll say, oh, it's a memorial. No, it's not. He's saying this is my body. It's a mystery. He's saying this bread is my body. And so therefore, you got to hold them to these issues and tell them you just can't leave that statement. You cannot just say it's memorial. That's not true. You have to accept what Christ is saying at face value. You cannot understand the mystery. You cannot fully understand what he's saying, but you accept it. And so therefore, the apostles, men left because they couldn't accept what he's saying in John chapter 6. And so, but he looks at his disciples. Are you going to leave too? And Peter says, "Who? No, Lord, you alone have the words of life." What's the issue? They accepted what the Lord says because he's the Lord. He's God, and he said it. You believe it. And the apostles say, God said it, I believe it, that settles it for me. Okay, God said it. This is my body. You're supposed to believe it, and it should be settled. Now you must become Orthodox. We'll see you next Sunday.
All right. Saba, you're also down south. What do you have to add to that?
Well, Father Boniface made very good points. When I deal with low church Protestants, especially the Baptist variety, I have a few things that I can say. First off, the other day, this doesn't sound relevant, but stick with me. The other day, one of our dearest brothers, who is hopefully watching, Tikon, thank you, by the way, for helping me store those chairs, and also the stuff your wife gave me for my eye, helped quite a bit. He was on some Facebook group where they were doing some sort of intra-Orthodox, Roman Catholic, Protestant debate thing, and some person asked, what is the Protestant group that is closest to the church? And Tikon responded with, the Roman Catholic Church. St. Augustine Popovich wrote a work in 1971 called Papism as the Oldest Protestantism, and as Father Boniface pointed out, Papism was a spirit of revolution against the church, which is exactly what the Protestants did later on. They just revolted against a false authority and then went further and further into falsehood. With these low church Protestants, I always usually default to a few points. First off, one of our dearest brothers, who will probably be watching this stream later, so I say hello to him as well, Pierre in France, said that with one of the things of the Baptists you could really try to focus and hone in on is that they're the only group that believes in this believer's baptism, that only adults can be baptized. You could obviously point to the Confession of Helvetius. I think it's Decree 16 on holy baptism. That has some of the most beautiful writings from St. Augustine, St. Basil the Great, and others talking about why we baptize infants. You can also talk about the origins of the Baptist Church, because the Baptists, they are eventually, from somewhere along the line, they were descended from the Calvinist Church. Believe it or not, John Calvin believed in the perpetual virginity of the Theotokos. He believed in the saints. He quotes St. Athanasius the Great almost 100 times in the Institutes. He quotes St. Hilary of Poitiers, St. Augustine, St. John Chrysostom. He quotes all these saints, but these Baptists don't even have the same faith they did 100 years ago, because even 100 years ago, they were more Calvinist than they are today.
Well, you have the London Confession of Faith,
yes,
which is definitely pulls a lot from the Westminster.
Yes.
So go ahead.
If you talk to these Southern Baptists, they do not have a historically consistent position, even within their own understanding and their own theology. Because 100 years ago, they didn't believe the same things they believe today, and they didn't believe the same things 100 years before that. I always see with these low church Protestants, it's already delusional enough to say that, oh, everyone got it wrong until John Calvin in, 1560 or 1564, Father Boniface here, he's former Calvinist, when, he started his revolt against the church. It's already delusional enough to claim that, and then you have to claim that, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years after that, people finally got it right. This is just an excuse to run their own church. So with these low church...
I'd say that too. 1,500 years of history. What was going on?
No, absolutely.
They're missing it.
Yeah, so with the low church Protestants, you have to really show them that the historical church, like another one, once again to give credit to Tikon, he was talking to a low church Protestant, and this Low Church Protestants like, oh, St. Augustine believed in sola scriptura and he believed in sola fide, and Tikhon just responded, yeah, but he was also a bishop in the Orthodox Church.
That's
You
right.
say that all the time as well, and it's such a good point to make. It's like, yeah, he was also a bishop in the Orthodox Church, and he wore vestments and served the divine liturgy and believed in the perpetual virginity of the Theotokos and all the other things that these people hate, but they love to quote him. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to add beside what Father Boniface and Saba said. Really, the main thing is all I can add to that is that you want to definitely address the fact that in the back of a lot of their heads, they're going to see you as some sort of crypto Roman Catholic. And you have to clarify that you're not that. We're part of the original church. The Roman Catholics are a break off of us, just like Protestantism, so that they kind of have their minds kind of clear for the possibility of a different answer than what they're used to. That Russian Orthodox says it's definitely helping, Father. Thank you. Tikhon says hi, hello. Let me see here. Final question from Vault Boy tonight. Is it heretical and wrong for an Orthodox Christian to be a political Zionist? Because
yes.
I'm one myself. Yeah, I mean, there's no theological basis for being a Zionist. I mean, maybe if you live in Israel, I guess you can make that argument, but there certainly isn't one outside of there.
He also has a question about Roak, which he said, is Roak
a part of Seraphim Synaxis with Puric, the MOC, and others are not yet? Okay, that's...
Yeah, it's dumb because first off, Metropolitan Seraphim isn't with the Montenegrin Synod. Like, it wasn't like that Mihailo went over there and was talking.
Yeah, he went over and talked to him once, and then that was it. It never went anywhere.
Yeah. So first off, we're our own autonomous Synod. We're not going to join the TOCR as part of their Synod. That doesn't make any sense. We have an informal communion, but we're not an informal communion. So I guess there's your answer there. But, I mean, you said our bishop's awful, so I don't know why you care.
Yeah, I think it was just trying to be trollish, which is also with the Zionist question. Unseen Warfare asks, can you speak about the difference on salvation? The life preserver is thrown, but none of us are saved until the ship reaches the shore. I am not sure what you're talking about there. Are you talking about the difference between Protestantism and Orthodoxy on salvation?
I think he's talking about like the once saved, always saved stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's definite. We can. One of the things that is different between Orthodoxy and historical Protestantism is that, frankly, the concept of justification is so different because Christ calls us in a living sense to partake with him, partake of him through the mysteries, etc. He's a living part of our lives as we walk towards him. While all of these concepts exist, at least on paper in Protestantism, in reality, a lot of it is so based simply upon the once saved, always saved idea that they end up not really believing in the concepts. So I remember arguing with a Baptist and him eventually saying, I'm not saying baptism is absolutely necessary at all. And I was like, well, why do you call yourself a Baptist? I mean, if you don't believe in that, then I guess, but the whole point is that in reality, it comes down to it's an oversimplification of salvation. While I'm sure that God can grant mercy on a person who has just believed on Christ or just been baptized and dies in an accident, I would assume that if they don't die in an accident, they'd have to do more than that. Not simply because works are necessary or anything, but because if you're walking with Christ, you're a different person. You're dead to the world. It's just a different world. And so the idea that all you have to do is just believe and be saved is, to me, it's strange, but I don't think it's biblical. I don't think it's in the tradition. Honestly, I think it was just a way to kind of get around the concepts of things like confession and indulgences. That's my view.
There's definitely a false reaction or a reaction to Rome, which creates more error in the Protestant Church. They should be looking back to the Orthodox And I tell people, at that time, Melanchthon was with Dositheus was talking with the Orthodox Church, and they offered Melanchthon, who was the companion of Luther, to look back to tradition, look back to the early church, and do not go in your own private direction. And of course, Melanchthon refused. And and to let's say, to add on to your point, I'd like to say this, that going back to what I was saying about Phariseeism and laws of men, the Baptist Church is requiring a visible testimony of your faith. Therefore, you have to be baptized before everybody, and now we really believe you're saved. Well, they are just demanding a visible sacrament just as much as the Orthodox Church is calling for a visible sacrament at baptism. It's just that they require some profession of faith. So they are actually being abusive to the original church and its graces through baptism of the infant. That's abusive. It's out of order. It's bad theology, and they're just continuing on in basically Phariseeism. And they also had that when they were teetotal. They just expressed their Phariseeism there. I guess they dropped some of that, and some did, some didn't. But there you go. All of this stuff is going to be man's laws, which is robbing Christ of his graces and of his glory and of his great salvation.
Indeed.
So.
Well, I mean, there's nothing. I disagree. I agree completely there, Father. So yeah, okay. Well, on the one hand, I would like to say thank you to everyone who has shown up. We're in those last 15 minutes of where we get to the 2-hour mark. We made it to $301.44. I didn't think we were going to make it that far. Once we get to the $400 goal, we can upgrade the cafe. I am feeling fairly confident / faithful that we will, but I kind of wanted to see if we could install it live. That might not happen. And that's okay, because it's still good. At $301, I can tell you this, it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen in a gimmicky, we're doing it live fashion, which is what I really like, but we'll definitely upgrade it. This money is going to the cafe, and we're too close. We're too close to not make it happen.
Two things, Father, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
The chairs. Did you get my email about the chairs?
I did. And I did see them. They are nice chairs. But
Father Methodius contacted me, but if anyone in this chat, anyone in this live stream is interested in bishop's chairs, please contact me. I have 3 of them that I'm trying to get rid of. You'll be doing me a huge favor.
I thought you were going to try. Did you talk to, in Canada or no?
I got a hold of Ecclesiological. He said they're too big.
Oof. Okay. I mean, yeah, the problem is, they are pretty big, but.
Also, this Vault Boy posted another comment. I feel like he has to know who I am, because now he's talking about Serbs and Ukrainians. He has to know who I am. This is entertaining now.
Okay, well, you read those comments out and answer them.
Okay, Serafim met Jovan Toric in Serbia too, Archbishop of the Belarusian Autocephalous Orthodox Church, who is claiming that Serbian Bishop Demiskin Dodovic ordained him with another Belarusian bishop, and is probably authentic. That last comment there has to be sarcastic. Since Serbs can celebrate with the Belarusian Orthodox Church and Ukrainian, I'm assuming it's about the Ukrainian Autocephalous Orthodox Church, until 1991 with the union now with the Patriarchate. Well, the union now with the Patriarchate was in 2018, but sure. I don't know what he's exactly trying to claim here, but I suggest you could.
The Orthodox Truth sends $5. Thank you for that. It is a YouTube donation. We really appreciate it. And unfortunately, it can't go towards the total because it actually goes into YouTube. They take out 30% and it gets sent to me. This, however, I'm going to count it like that in my own mind for accounting. We are definitely going to get to the $400 this week. Don't worry about it. And we are going to upgrade the cafe. I didn't think we'd get this close, but I know that we can do it now.
If you give on Give Send Go, question: if you give on Give Send Go, is that through YouTube?
No, but if you give on Give Send Go, it's still a 3-day delay, which means like part of the whole reason we were doing it live was that the idea was that I would try to update the site live and add all the features live. But if it's Give Send Go, it won't arrive at the latest till Thursday.
So where do you give that it is immediate?
Usually Cash App or PayPal, but they do take out a chunk, but it's a small chunk and I can survive it. But in any case,
I don't see a PayPal thing on your site at all.
It's on nft.net on the bottom. That Russian Orthodox, reach out to Saba. Both of you actually are on the cafe, so you can actually private message each other. Just that's the easiest way of Saba. If you could type something in the cafe's chat so he can see who you are there.
I'm not logged into the cafe, but I can do that real quick.
That way you guys can reach out to each other, and you don't have to be here on this because we're gonna probably end our stream pretty soon. Let me see here, and then meanwhile.
For that Vault Boy guy, if he wants to know more about Ukrainian church history, you could contact me on the St. Euphrosinos Cafe, or you could go contact Thomas Deretich. He's pretty well learned because he came from the Orphishites or something originally. So if you want to know more about Ukrainian church history and not EP/MP propaganda, go ask them.
All right, and it sounds like that Russian Orthodox just texted you, Saba, so you want to refresh your cafe.
Oh, he texted me over the phone. It's okay. I didn't realize it was you, Anthony. I'm sorry.
Oh, so he knows who you are. Okay. Tikon Fried asks, how do you deal with the low church Protestants that are stuck on speaking in tongues being a heavenly language that they have been gifted with? Father Boniface, I'm going to let you go first on this one because that's one of my hard questions. I tend to my responses are not good.
Well, yeah, well, maybe you could do as well as I could, but you have to say that those languages are not biblical.
No, they're not.
I mean, they're spoken languages. That's what they were in the beginning, and they are real languages. And that again, it's just men trying to conjure up their own miracles. Basically, they're trying to justify themselves as being real by this language, which has a lot of fakery in it. I mean, if you look at the charismatic movement, they could just say you can mumble jumble anything you want to say, and it gets accepted. So, I think Apostle Paul in Corinthians is talking hyperbole. If I could speak in the tongues of angels, doesn't mean he can. He's just saying in the greatest hyperbolic way, if I could do these great things, but if I don't have love, I'm nothing.
Yep.
And so then you can also say that use the same basic arguments of, well, do you believe in the Eucharist? Where are you on that? Where are you on the fathers, the tradition, and the order of the church? Why aren't you Orthodox? Because let's go back to the original church. So while you're busy going in that direction, you are ignoring all the cardinal doctrines of the original church. So how do you answer that? So while you're off there going into your direction of hyperbolic languages, which you don't interpret, which no one knows anyway, because I need an interpreter when you do that, then why don't you return to the original cardinal doctrines of the church and the original faith? Why aren't you there instead? Because if you want real miracles, you've got them in the Orthodox Church. So, quit faking it and get into the real stuff.
See, I hate to say it, but I was going to make a similar comment in the sense that a lot of the claims made, despite the fact that they may actually truly believe that they're speaking in tongues when a lot of the times they're just mumbling gibberish, is the fact that you might sometimes have to question that directly. Saba, what do you thought? What are your thoughts on the Pentecostals speaking in tongues?
I always say that if you read what happened in the book of Acts, the people in Jerusalem were able to hear in their own tongues. So Elamites heard it in Elamite, Persians heard it in Persian, Greeks heard it in Greek, Romans heard it in Latin, Hebrews in Hebrew, Aramaics and the Arameans in Aramaic. So we hear that in the book of Acts when the apostles were preaching. And that's what speaking in tongues is. I think we have saints even in the modern period where they were able to hear people's confessions and whatnot. Like Vladika Fyodor Ortel, even. He only spoke like Russian and some English, but he was able to contact and talk to people in all sorts of languages, even though he knew nothing of these languages. And I like something that Father Mark said today. He said, you can actually come to our church here in Louisiana when Vladika is here, and you'll hear speaking in tongues, because he does some of the liturgy in Slavonic and some of it in English. It's pretty amazing, actually. And believe it or not, there's even people there that can interpret it for you.
You know what I would do? I tell you what I would do. I saw on the internet some guy with a little box, which was a translator, that you could speak into it, and it carries 68 languages in that translator. You can take it with you anywhere in the world. And if you meet a person, you can just say, speak into the box, and it will translate it into your native tongue so that you can talk to people. So I would just simply say, the next time somebody talks in tongues, talk to my translator and put it in there. And then we can see which language it is.
All right, I just got a message. I'm throwing this out. So an anonymous donor has offered to match $50. If we can get a $50 donation, he'll match, and we will get to over the $400 goal, and we will start trying to see if we can set this thing up live.
So I'm looking at the Vote Boys comments here, and this guy definitely knows who I am. Again, either he's mocking me or he's just trying to.
I don't know what he's doing.
Okay, so his comments, I'll just read them out. Vladika Grigory Ujicic of the UAOC served the funeral for King Peter II together with the Serbian Bishop Dionysi in Libreville. Yes, I knew about that. Free Serbs even participated in Ukrainian ordinations into the reconciliation with the Belgrade Patriarchate and the end of the Free Serbian Orthodox Church as a jurisdiction. Well, first off, the Free Serbian Orthodox Church still exists. In fact, I know their Bishop Christopher in Australia, so he's saying strange that Sava knows nothing about this. You just told me a bunch of stuff that I know, and then show that you don't actually know that the Free Serbs are still a thing. The UAOC before Mstislav was a canonical jurisdiction, no Sergianism, ecumenism, new counters. Yes, I know that. And also Mstislav was against all those same things. How do I know this? Because my spiritual father, when I was with the UAOC, was a spiritual son of Vladika Mstislav. And Mstislav was made a bishop by Polycarp in Alexander, and they of course broke over not really Sergianism, but the new calendar, since the Polish Orthodox Church was forcing that on them. So yeah, this guy is either trolling, he's trying to upset me, which, I mean, you could clip this and say that's working, but no, I don't even know who you are. But sure. Someone asked me, are you originally from Serbia? No, I was born in the United States. I've never been to Serbia.
Well, yeah, that has been that's interesting. I'm not sure. I'm surprised Wild Boy's still here, considering he said he was going to go with that weird question, but he didn't. But welcome back. I mean, you're welcome to jump on. Anyone can jump on the stream. Remember, this is the live Q&A stream, where you can add comments, or you can call in just hitting the link at the top of the chat. We're now we're about 5 minutes out from going to the third hour of the chat, and hopefully we will reach our totals. It turns out that we are now at $301.44 of the $400 goal. Anonymous user has stated, okay, wait, we got another, okay, I just saw this, got another anonymous offer to match the 50. So at that point, give me one moment. I am putting up, hold on one moment. Let me just see here. I'm just going to make a note.
I see something Marshall posted in chat. I think this goes back to the Protestant discussion.
Oh, read it out. Yeah, please. I realized I hadn't read that one out yet.
I can read it if you wish.
Yeah.
Because I have bad eyesight. Blind is a bat. Let's see. Let me move this. I'm not using a webcam on my laptop.
Father Swain, I sent you a text.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it, Father Boniface. I saw it.
Okay, good.
So this is a quote from Father Seraphim Rose. Luther had taken out of Christianity the idea of struggle and left it something very weak, which does not satisfy either the mind or the heart. Something which could be totally dry and irrational on the one hand, or totally sentimental on the other hand. I think I know where that's from Father Seraphim's work. So with Father Seraphim, he actually wrote something. I was going to quote him, talking about the Protestants. For example, with the Protestants, it very much encapsulates the essence of what Father Seraphim Rose said in one of his quotes, that there is no such thing as Christianity. No Christianity is easy unless it's fake. And what is Protestantism? It's easy Christianity. It's fake Christianity.
It is for sure easy Christianity. The asceticism, there's no sense of history. There's no sense of the struggle of the Desert Fathers, of asceticism, and they disdain the monasteries. And so, really serious prayer, fastings, no, it's not there.
This Vote Boy asks me another question. And who brought that evil spirit to the Ukrainian autocephalous Orthodox Church, in your opinion, Saba? Mstislav was the one who messed up with Bartholomew at the end. Mstislav had nothing to do with the EP, because the EP stole our buildings and stole a bunch of our bishops. And Bartholomew reposed in 1993. Bartholomew was made a bishop in, 1990? Or made patriarch in 1990. They might have had some interaction, but they didn't have a union. I don't know where you're getting this history from. It sounds like some propaganda that the EP or the MP is putting out there, because it's just not true. Because I knew people that were there for some of these things that you're claiming, and these things just didn't happen. For Joshua Mack, is the Free Serbian Orthodox Church in communion with the Bulgarian Localist Church? Is the Roka A and Bulgarians, are they in communion anymore?
I'm not sure. I don't think they are.
Okay, well, they used to be, because the Free Serbian Orthodox Church got their. The Free Serbian Orthodox Church got their bishop from the Roka A, so they were with the Holy Synod and Resistance and the Bulgarians and Slatoria. They're still with Kalinikos, I guess, but I don't know if Bulgaria is still in communion with the GOCK and all that. So.
Okay, just so you know, we have reached the $400 goal. So thank you to everyone who assisted. Because they're different kinds of payments. I'm trying to figure out how to move them, and once I've moved them into one spot, I can pay for the upgrade, and we're going to go live with the upgrade. So give me just a few moments while we go through that. Until then, if we have more questions or comments, I've been disconnected. This is why we need a new chat, my friends. This cannot go on. This is just not acceptable. Rumpelstiltskin pops up. Hello, and let me see here. Oh, we got more comments. Thoughts. Bulgarians are GSK. Okay. Russian Orthodox Traditionalist has quite a few ones, I think, one on the calendar too. I've heard Fungal set up parishes in Bulgaria. Don't know what that was about, but alas, Romanians accused of Cyprianism. Okay, so in any case, let me see here. Because I'm trying to do some other things, I'm trying to figure this one out. Okay, so let me think. Hold on, I'm going to try something here. First, I got to check something, and maybe I'll be able to. Give me a moment. Okay.
I do want to say to this Vault Boy, I feel like this guy has to know who I am. That was just really coincidental that he was bringing up stuff about Ukraine and whatnot.
Okay.
In church. If you could tell me who you are, Vault Boy, I don't recognize your online handle. To be fair, I'm not very good with this stuff. I have no idea who you are. Unless you just really don't know who I am, in which case I'm being paranoid and I apologize. But
don't mind me, guys. I am just moving things. I'm hoping that they work properly.
Anthony asked about books for about ecumenism, and sorry, I have to find it. My eyes are messed up again. He asked about books for ecumenism. Yeah, Sunrise mentions the sorrowful epistles. That's something I have on a catechism list for catechumens. The calendar question by Father Basil Sakos, and there's actually one I can go grab real quick from over here. Where is it? I have it somewhere in here, I know that much. Ah, there we go. Okay. I don't know if this is going to come up. Camera's weird. I don't know if you can read that. This was published by Holy Trinity back in the day. It's the Orthodox Church calendar in defense of the Julian calendar, including the 70th anniversary of the Pan-Orthodox Congress in Constantinople by Vladika Frotier Traditia, the Julian calendar, and also the Julian calendar by Ludmila Pirokoplina, which is a very good work. We have a few copies, Anthony. This was one of the books that personally convinced me of true Orthodoxy. If you're wanting a copy of this, I can bring it to church next Sunday. There's also a work that Father Seraphim Rose used to recommend to everyone called Against False Union by Dr. Alexander Calamiras. There's a printing by HGM that I really like. That's a really good foreword. That's a really good one as well. There's one that's also by Ludmila Prokopina that Ezekiel has a copy of called Ecumenism, the Path to Apostasy, which I could get you a copy of that as well, but I'll bring this to church next Sunday.
Okay. Let me just see here.
Someone just asked, how long were you World Orthodox before becoming True Orthodox, Saba, if you were in World Orthodox? So I was with the Ukrainian Autocephalous Orthodox Church in America, which, if you're familiar, was a total mess. After Patriarch Dmitry reposed and all these affairs and whatnot, especially in America, it was just a total mess. There was no semblance of canonicity. So more or less I was with Episcopus Vegantes before I was with True Orthodox. The ecclesiology was basically the same, but I remember, because the UAOC was in communion with the Milan Synod, that's actually how I started looking more into True Orthodoxy. And then, of course, my spiritual father talked more and more about how Misoslav was against the new calendar and ecumenism and all these other things. I said, okay, there's something here. And eventually I said, okay, I just need to join the True Orthodox Church, not people that used to be True Orthodox so many years ago. But I was with the Ukrainian Autocephalous Orthodox Church. I was baptized in 2017, and I left in 2019 and was received into ROAC in the later part of 2020. So that answers your question there, about 3 years.
Let's see here.
Ioannikos asks, Sava, what is on your catechism book list? I try to keep things simple. Of course, we use The Law of God by Father Father Seraphim Slobodowski, which is a good book. I use Genesis, Creation, Early Man by Father Seraphim Rose, The Soul After Death by Father Seraphim Rose, The Confession of Theseus, which is one I think not enough people have read, and then I have the longer and shorter catechism of Saint Filaret of Moskva and Saint Peter of Mohyla, The Orthodox Veneration of the Mother of God by Saint John Maximovich, and then a few other smaller books in there as well, like the Sorrowful Epistles by Saint Filaret. For people coming from more like new Calvinist backgrounds, I usually have specific books and whatnot, but that's the books I usually use standard in whatnot, Ioannikos. Someone's saying something about Dimitri Rostier. That's Augustinius. Dimitri Rostier is interesting. I don't know if you know about this Augustinius, but Dimitri Rostier got into a bunch of issues in the 1960s because he baptized Lee Harvey Oswald, and there's pictures of him with Lee Harvey Oswald, which I think we have a thread on the St. Euphrosynos Cafe talking about that. But yeah,
when did he do that?
When did he baptize Lee Harvey Oswald?
That was like the 1962 or something.
Yeah, it was not very shortly before the assassination, because his wife was with the Moscow Patriarchate. She was like a Belarusian or something, and of course moved to the United States. He met her in Minsk when he went in like 1959 or something, and weird guy.
Huh.
They claim this Dimitri Rostier is incorrupt. I don't buy it, because this Dimitri Rostier used to commune Ethiopian Monophysites. There's really pictures of him doing that. I don't know too many saints that did that. But
it's also worth noting that that incorruptibility can be found not just among other groups, but even among non-Christians. So that's not a very good standard to work with.
It can be a punishment too. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
The story, I think it's from the life of Saint Nectarius of Agina, but there was this woman who like slapped her husband, got upset because he was drunk or something, and Saint Nectarius said, "Well, the rest of your body will corrupt, but not your hands." And sure enough, her hands that she slapped her husband with did not corrupt after her death. The Unionate Emperor Michael Palagios VII, when he signed the Union of Lions, he died on Mount Athos. And if you understand, there's no incorrupt relics on Mount Athos. All bodies on Mount Athos corrupt, even the saints. But Michael Palagios' body didn't corrupt, along with some of the Unionate priests he had with him. And there's pictures of it. He has the most horrified expression on his face. So incorruptibility, in fact, they actually have a tradition in Romania. When they find an incorrupt body, they usually dig the body up. They sing the hymns and whatnot, asking God for forgiveness, and then they rebury the body. If that happens a few more times, and they say, okay, well, it must be incorruptibility as a reward, not as a punishment.
Yeah. Let me see here. So this is slowly becoming the cafe installation special, as I try to figure it. Yeah, I've done the pro. Oh, please feel free. You guys are doing great. I'm just trying to figure out how to move money in the right places here, because
I've been wanting to read. Sunrise says, I've been wanting to read the Father Seraphim Rose. Sorry, I need my glasses. The Father Seraphim Rose book about Genesis. I can't find a cheap copy. Just hate reading stuff on the screen too. Yeah, I know. I recently got a hold of a first edition of Genesis, Creation, Early Man, and people are trying to sell them online for $1,000. Jonah Hickenbotham has first editions on all her website. You could probably get it printed if you know the right people. Mystic Matt says, greetings, everyone. I just wanted to stop by and ask for prayers. Lord have mercy. God grant. Next month on October 12th and 13th, I will be Tantra monk and ordained as a deacon by Archbishop Irenaeus of Austin in Texas of the Avalona Synod. So prayers are definitely appreciated and needed. Enjoying the show as always, even if I don't always talk. Glory to God. This is very good to hear. Very good to hear. Anthony, or that Russian Orthodox, asks thoughts on Father Peter Hears. Well,
Oh boy. Well, we have thoughts.
Yeah, we have thoughts. Do you want the good or the bad? The good is that I like some of his videos. Like, I've seen like 2 videos of his that I like. He also translated some books, but I like the
I think he has a
sound.
pretty cool, video accent.
Yeah. My mother used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say about someone, don't say anything at all. So I think we'll just move on from that question. But if you want to know the real details on Father Pete Hears, you could just go into the True Orthodox Discords and ask about that. People won't hold back there.
Hopefully starting tonight, the True Orthodox Discord will become obsolete, as will other Discords on the matter, because the cafe will have the most powerful communications medium of the bunch.
Honestly, God willing. Voltboy asks, in Sava, what's your take on Germishin Maximov, who was indeed a martyr in the end? Arkakye Moss stopped his canonization, RTOC. Germishin was a schismatic. He was with this Eustache group that was basically crypto-unionate. Again, I don't know if you're just trolling, because really no one thinks that Germishin was a good man. He was in the Roll Corps, but he went to schism. He was collaborating with the Eustache, which martyred 750,000 Serbs for the Orthodox faith. And the Croatian Orthodox Union was just going to end up as being exactly that, a union. So that's retarded. I hate to say that. Serbs might not like to talk about it, but Germishin saved more Serbian lives than many political and military leaders at the time. Yeah, so did Draja. But sure. Sunrise asks, is the reception of the Heterodox book from him any good? I actually read it. It is pretty good. It's decent. Blue Hills, or Augustinios, asks, Peter Hill is a perfect example of canons for thee, but not for me. He preaches at the church he doesn't belong to, and he leaves whenever the bishop arrives. Yeah, that's fine. That's a perfect way to say it. Of course, Joshua Mack says it has a lot of good citations talking about Father Peter Here's book. I see why so many in WO went so hard against it. Yes. He also recently put out a book about Saint Raphael of Brooklyn. So that one looked pretty good as well. I've been to Saint Raphael's grave, and it was him defending Saint Cyprian against the Saint Cyprian of Carthage against the papists. I haven't wanted to read that for a while. Anthony, or that Russian Orthodox, asks, I like how whenever I was interested in Orthodoxy, I was on a WO Reddit server. There's what you went wrong right there. You were on a Reddit server, and they were saying to stay away from Father Peter. Probably because they don't think that he's ecumenist enough. Ignatie, or I like wow, I like, says, hello, brothers. Just to know, 95% of Roll Corps synods wanted to canonize Germishin. Not our synod. All Cossacks was in Germishin's church. Yeah, but Cossacks don't make a church, does it? Sunrise says, it is pretty funny how mad people on WO get when you post any of his stuff, though. Yeah, it is pretty funny. Ionikos Jonathan Britz says, Orthodox Reddit is a dumpster fire. I would say it's burned its way into the sewer by now, but sure, it is a dumpster. Oh, Father Antonios is in the chat. Your blessing, Father. I don't see too many comments. Maybe I need to switch over to all comments. Live chat. All messages are visible. Let's see. It's very good to see you, Ignatie. We never talked much after the last stream. Thank you for your blessing, Father. Blue Hill says their memes are also bad. Something about repentance stairs? I don't know what he's talking about. How are you today, Father Antonios? Oh, Ignatia says he's going to join chat. Very good.
I'd like to ask a prayer request.
Well, go ahead.
I am involved with this Amendment 4 in Florida issue where they're trying to get abortion allowed for any reason whatsoever. And it will not even allow the legislature to to write a law to fight abortion. They want that amendment to delete totally the people's voice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our county commissioners and I'm going to present to one commissioner a resolution that would be to tell the people to vote in favor of Amendment 4, because the vote is up to the people. And so, so I just like to ask for prayers that the Lord will help this my solicitation to succeed.
Yes, sorry, I'm messing with my volume. Yes, God willing, the plans of the evildoers will be put to shame, because that is awful what they're trying to do. I've been trying to spread the word as much as I can, Father Boniface, because that is really bad. So
yeah, I need, it's like we need the prayers of people. I was reading just one thing about an issue with the Hildebrand issue, but the one person who wrote an article about that way back when in that time said that he needed the prayers of the people to fight this battle. And so really, I need the prayers of the people because this is a huge battle.
I mean, there's a prayer we say to the cross, save, O Lord, thy people and bless thy inheritance. Grant victory to Orthodox emperors over barbarians, and by the power of thy cross do thou preserve our commonwealth. We say this.
Yeah. So there you go. Appreciate it.
Sunrise says, are such Orthodox Christianity is like the most modernist Orthodox place on the web? Well, for one, they allow monophysites on there. It's not even for Eastern Orthodox. It's for monophysites, for anyone who claims to be Orthodox. Ignatia says, I joined chat. Wanted to ask if it is possible to speak in private with Father. He's talking about Father Joseph Sweden. I guess he can respond to that at his time. Reddit Orthodox is liberal as it can be. I mean, it's Reddit. What do you expect?
What's going on? I heard my name.
Ignatia wanted to know if he could speak with you in private.
Well, he can. You can message me privately on the not only on the cafe, but just you'd have to. It wouldn't be while I'm working on the stream. I'll tell you that because I'm still trying to do some things here. Let me see here. If you want to, my name is Sweden on the cafe. So if you're at the cafe, you can see me there. I'm literally live there, and you can find me in the chat room most likely. Give me a moment.
As Father Antonio says, absolutely wonderful. Thank you for asking. Very good to hear. Ortho Just says, Reddit Orthodox is as liberal as it can be. Again, it's Reddit. What do you expect? Sunrise says, Reddit Orthodox, every post is about evolution or junk. Yeah, it's Reddit. I can just keep saying that. Volt Boy, oh boy. Vissarion Koyo, Bishop of Rokor after 1954, ordained Spiridon Mifka a bishop together with Germishin, and he was accepted as a Romanian cleric in Rokor without any penitence. Well, okay. Germishin was in the Rokor. And if Germishin was schismatic, who deposed him? Himself, because he joined a fake church that was set up by the Eustache. Germishin was deposed because he wanted to make Cossack Orthodox Church, and he wanted to make a Unionate Church. Ortho Just says, God willing, it goes well. Oh boy, again, oh boy. Bishop Dionysi Milojevic had good words even for Cardinal Stepanich, persecuted by communists. Why is Germishin worse then? Well, Stepanich was a heretic, and he was also an architect of the Serbian genocide. Bishop Dionysi basically believed that Stepanich was a lackey, which he was. He was a lackey for the Pope, because that's what a cardinal is. This makes no sense. You can join the chat, or you can join the St. Euphrosios Cafe, but sure. Is it okay, Saba, give you my number? Yes, that's perfectly fine. I mean, you're in my Telegram contacts, so you should have my phone number, vice versa.
What's going on here? And this is what was the thing that we're dealing with? Because
Ignatia wants
obviously,
to
I
figure
like
out.
like.
Ignatia is trying to figure out how to get into contact with you. Ignatia is trying to figure out how to get into contact with your
Ignatia.
father.
Is he?
Yeah. No, I mean give father
Is
my number. Yes,
Ignatia
I
on the
can.
cafe right now, or no?
I don't know. He says give father my number. Yes, I can do that if you wish. I mean, he's in the United States just like me, so I don't know how you do the. He's not on Telegram, so I don't know how you're going to do a long distance call.
Yeah, I'm not on Telegram. I'm not on Telegram. You can do Google Voice. If I can get this cafe thing set up, we'll actually be able to do live calling through it. Just still trying to get everything moved, and so it's taking me a while because we're dealing with there's crypto, there's Cash App, there's PayPal. None of them are actually connected to each other, so I've got to figure out how to move everything together so that I can get this paid.
I think there we go. Father Boniface is back. Good. His camera froze. Mystic Matt is asking a question of Father Antonius. Yes, it is that Father Antonius. It is that Father Antonius. I don't see anything here. I guess
I wanted to, if I could make a clarification, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I had one person wonder what my stand was on the Amendment 4. The answer is to vote no. It's an amendment to try and approve abortion. If you vote yes, and I'm emphatically saying vote no, and that's what I will be going down to the Pope Commissioner to persuade him to have a resolution to vote no, absolutely. So just to clarify.
I think that's the only acceptable vote. So.
That's right.
Yes.
By the way, I'll say this, that I talked with one pastor on Friday night who was from Ohio, and he said that the states which have a majority provision for their amendments, which would mean what, 51%, have passed similar laws. In Florida, the majority is a 60%. So they're going to have a little more difficulty, but nevertheless, it's, still it's a fight.
Lord of mercy, and of course, whatever God wills is ultimately for our good. But hopefully everyone there in Florida votes no on such an amendment. But yes. So Ignatia said, I will ask Saba tomorrow to help me to contact you. Yes, I can help with that.
Yeah, I'm almost done with the setup here, so I might actually be able to install this upgrade very
Unfortunately,
soon.
no one is really talking much. I'm trying to get the chat here on the St. Euphrosynos Cafe to work.
Yeah, well, it's going to be completely different in a minute. Or not in a minute, but as soon as I get this set up.
I'm trying to read stuff off so we're not just sitting here. Okay. Yes. Ignatia says, next time when you have stream. Yes, so they're talking, Father Antonios and Mystic Matter, talking about when we tortured a monk. But glory to God, once again, trying to get into the St. Euphrosynos Cafe chat to see if I can figure out if anyone has any interesting messages there. Because, I hate to take over your show, Father. Or just,
You're not. You guys are doing me a great favor because I've never done anything like this on a show before. So I'm trying it now. Let me see here. And so just going to try one more thing.
The chat's not going to work on my laptop. My neighbors are being loud. That's always fun. I need to move. But it's 10 o'clock at night. Why are they being so loud? Let's see. Okay, maybe I can get into the chat now. Let's see. Let's see. What's the weather like there in Florida, Father Boniface? It's been rather cool here in Louisiana, thank God. It's been getting
Well, I
cooler.
tell you what, it's staying hot here, real hot.
Oh, Lord have
Almost
mercy.
there.
It's
It
not
got
quitting.
down. It got down to about 80 yesterday and Saturday, which was just actually downright pleasant. We had a lot
Yeah,
of rain.
yeah.
Right now, it looks like we might actually have a hurricane headed right for us in Louisiana. God
Oh boy.
willing, it won't be a bad one. So I guess prayers would be appreciated for that.
Yeah.
I mean, here in Louisiana, hurricanes is nothing. We don't really care much about hurricanes. They're not a big deal for us. But oh, good, we have some more
Questions and
people
comments?
here. Okay, yes. Ignatius says, last time I heard from Bishop, from Father Synod, speaking nonsense about Ukraine and about Bandera. Well, Stefan Bandera was a bad man. I don't know if he's saying good man or bad man, because Bandera was definitely bad. Sunrise says, the Sabo Late Night Show. Yeah, I know. This is one of the trashy Jerry Springer type shows with me on it. Father Antonio says, you're doing a great job. No, I'm really not. Anthony says, that Russian Orthodox. Saba, what is your favorite saint? Same for you fathers. Favorite saints. I've always liked Saint Lawrence of Rome. He was an archdeacon. The story about him is that he was persecuted by Diocletian. He was brought to trial, sentenced to death, and they basically put him on a giant gridiron and cooked him alive. And as he was being burned alive, he said, "Turn me over. I'm done on this side." So I've always liked that about Saint Lawrence. I've always really liked a lot of the Desert Fathers, like Saint Moses of Ethiopia, especially. I have some icons here. I think we can just pick some of them out. Of course, I really always like this icon from Russia. I don't know if you can see it. Saint Seraphim's Rogue. I have this hand-painted icon that Fyodor gave me of Saint Alexander Nevsky. I've always liked Saint Alexander. Well, with favorite saints, there's no bad ones. I guess they're all pretty good. I guess I don't have a least favorite saint. As for you, Father Boniface, who would you say are some of your favorite saints?
Well, Father Boniface, Saint Boniface is a wonderful saint. I really enjoy his story because since I'm in the Western Rite, he was a missionary from the British Isles, and he went over to Germany. And so he, preached in Germany and set up various, I would say, monasteries, churches, won many converts, did a lot of work, and then eventually was martyred with his companions of about 30 other monks and people with him. The Frisians came and martyred them all. And so he's a wonderful one. I enjoy some of the English saints. Saint King Edward, I love his story because, he was involved in the Battle of Hastings. And then he said that upon his deathbed that a year and a day, England would be taken over. And so a year and a day, William the Conqueror was crowned King of England. Mm-hmm. And so it's fascinating his testimony of how he would, even when he would wash his hands, people would want to get his washcloth in the water because they would get healed.
Yes.
So those are two favorites. Boniface, of course, being also for chopping down the tree. Now the story goes that he started to cut the tree, but that he didn't complete it. The Lord pushed the tree over with a big wind, and so it's fascinating because that converted the people who saw it happen, and because they were expecting the German God to put him to death, and it didn't happen.
Yes, with St. Boniface, I think it's so funny that when we visited you, Father Boniface, one of the things we did was cut down a tree.
Yeah, right. Right,
Yes.
there you go.
But I always love that, him chopping down the tree. That's a great fun. Yes, to go over some other comments. JKSHDAK, I guess that's how you pronounce that. Hey, can you delete my name? I support the cafe because I think it's a good site with lots of useful information. But I accidentally leaked my name and thought it was anonymous. I mean, okay.
What are you? I don't
Sunrise.
understand. What's he asking?
He thinks he wants his account to be deleted. Contact Father Joseph Swayden. There's an email account, and he's also on the Euphrosynos Cafe. You could contact him there.
I
Sunrise
think he
says, my
wanted his
yard.
name to be anonymous, that people not know that it was he who was giving the gift.
Well,
Sunrise says,
which gift?
this
I
guy
don't
with this
know.
long nonsense name. Sunrise says, my yard has been completely dead. I didn't mow for like nearly 3 weeks, I think. That's odd. I don't know if you're in like Arizona or something. Ignatia says, which synod does Father Boniface belong to? He belongs to the autonomous Orthodox Metropolia of North and South America and the British Isles, which is the
Correct.
same
Hold on.
synod that Father Joseph Swayden belongs to.
Okay, hold on. I have no idea who the person writing with the long thing is. I'm not sure how your
That
name
looks like spam.
No. People have been donating, but I want to make clear there's no place where your donation's been shown off or anything. I don't know. I mean, I'm in charge of handling things at the cafe, so I would have seen it, but I don't think I put it. Did I put it up on the screen or something?
I think he's talking about his account on the St. Euphrosynos Cafe, I think.
Well, that's just an account. There's no one on the cafe knows, unless they're watching this stream and saw what you just wrote, knows anything about any donation. They wouldn't appear there.
Yes.
These accounts, the donation accounts are all going to me. They have nothing to do physically with the cafe, so they don't appear there.
But to answer your question, Ignatia, he's with the same synod that Father Joseph is with. He's under Metropolitan John LeBoux of New York, Archbishop of New York, and Metropolitan of America. Let's see. Okay, sorry. Father Simeon, Monk Simeon writes, Saint Romuald of Ravenna and Kostar, they were Western Hesychasts. Yes, they were. Hesychast was very present in the West pre-schism. The Russian Orthodox, Anthony writes, I find the story of Saint Seraphim Sorel very inspiring. It really resonated with me out of a lot of saints so far. Yes, very good. I do have a question. Do true Orthodox hold that Matrona Moskva and Nikolai Zicha are saints? Well, funny you talk about Saint Nikolai Vinorovich. Yes, I don't think you're going to find really any true Orthodox that don't recognize him as a saint. He absolutely was a saint. As for this Matrona Moskva, we have a thread on the Saint Euphrosynos talking about her.
It's not even clear if she's a real person.
Well, she existed, but I like one thing my Vladika said is that this whole story of her praying for Stalin and whatnot, if she really was this holy woman and whatnot, how did she not realize that Stalin was a devil? I would say that with this Matrona Moskva, there's another thing about how her life is very similar to this Saint Matrona of Hamnezievo, which there's either they deliberately forged the lives of Matrona Moskva, she never existed, or she was a surgeoness, or she never really existed. Like Ignatia says here, Matrona didn't even exist. It's KGB saint. Nicola, let's see. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications says, I see I missed the Father Peter Here's conversation. I did mention one of the stories you've told about Father Peter Here's, though, Subdeacon. Yes. Nikolai died as an OCA cleric. No, he didn't. He died at St. Tikhon's Monastery, but he was not with the OCA.
There was no OCA when he died.
Yeah, basically. Ignatia writes, Vinorovich is a saint, same as Justin. I agree. Vaultboy says, so what? What? Father Simeon says, no, on Nikolai Uzicha. That's St. Nikolai Vimirovich. Sunrise says, I live in Appalachia, but it's just been like a 100 degrees constantly. Oh, that's sad. That sounds like Louisiana, but it's probably still more pleasant than Louisiana because you don't have like 90% humidity. Louisiana's the only state, the only place I know of where you can have 100% humidity and it's not raining. Mystic Matt says, yes, I've seen an icon with her and Stalin, and that really bothered me, as you can imagine. Yes, because Stalin does not deserve any place on any icon except maybe an icon of Hades and a lake of fire. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications says, which story? The whole thing about how you won't go to the church there at St. Anthony's when Ilpidorios or one of these other heretic bishops are serving there. So he's very inconsistent about his own thing. I guess there's some other stories we could share about him. Vault Boy says to Sunrise, build some vault, sir. What? Atomic Lead says, I obviously accept St. Ustin Popovich as a saint, but how does that work out chronologically? What do you mean? How does that work out chronologically? Well, he just wasn't with the Serbian Patriarchate. Orthodox Church's Publication says, yes, his version of Flea. Yes, a very inconsistent version of it, because he tells other people not to do the same thing. Ignatiy writes, to understand position of Saint Nikolai, in that time no one didn't want to help him, so he would stay with Osier, where before he was with Orthodox people from Balkan in the time of Nikolai. Osier was still okay, yes, basically. It basically is that, aka Orthodox Presbyterianism, or equals Orthodox ethos ecclesiology. Yeah, it basically does. Father Boniface could probably comment on that, since he's former Presbyterian. Do you see the uncanny resemblance there?
Interesting.
Yes. Atomic Lead says, I didn't know that. Thank you, Sava. I try. But with St. Ustin, St. Ustin was a non-commemorator. He was persecuted very much by Patriarch German. German refused to show up to his funeral. He used to receive Rokor clergy there at the Chenye monastery. He just wasn't with the Serbian Patriarchate. He left the Serbian Patriarchate, essentially. So Mystic Matt says, I know St. Nikolai refused to celebrate with anyone on the new calendar as well. Yes, that's true. The OCA wasn't on the new calendar until like the 1960s. And this was only a few years after the Cleveland Sabor. And, that's St. Nikolai for you. Ignatiy writes, St. Nikolai was the only one in the 1920s who was a pure ecumenist and repented. That is true. He was actually censured by the Serbian Synod because he went to Oxford and he went to an old Catholic seminary in Bern and was very influenced by their theology. And he was actually a ecumenist who repented. So glory to God for that. Vault Boy writes, just was in communion. He commemorated his diocesan bishop, which was himself. He's talking about St. Lustin here. He's not talking about the bishop that he commemorated was made a bishop in the Serbian Patriarchate prior to 1962. So he was a valid bishop under Patriarch Vikentie II. And that bishop was also not very popular in the Serbian Patriarchate. German was trying to get rid of all these people. And basically the Serbian Patriarchate was German. All these other bishops weren't really relevant to the full story. Because German had the full support of Rankovic and all the other communist leaders there in Serbia. Anthony writes, Salva should start his own show. No, I really shouldn't. That would be a disaster. Father Simeon writes, I didn't know he repented. Glory to God. Yes, he did repent very much of his former ecumenist views. Another thing that people don't talk about with St. Nikolai is that he actually gave chrism to St. Chrysostomos of Florina so the GOC in Greece could continue to operate. And he also even offered to go to Greece and consecrate more bishops for the Greek Old Calendarists, and they refused. So No, Saint Nikolai was true Orthodox. In fact, I have these books over here. I guess it's another thing of me showing off books. These books are out of print. These books have been out of print for a very long time. But let's see if I can put these up here. I don't know if you can see here. These are the treasury of the Serbian spirituality, Serbian Orthodox spirituality, written by Saint Nikolai. There's 5 volumes. I have 3 of them. This one here talks about Saint Ustin Popovic and how he was true Orthodox. And this one's very good, The Paris by the Lake, which was just many of his Saint Nikolai's writings. I've read through these many years ago, and I don't really know how you could walk away from this that he was okay with the new counters, because in multiple of his letters, especially in this book here, and also St. Ustin's letters as well, they're very clear that they weren't fans of ecumenism. They did not consider ecumenism as just being a whatever thing. Let's see. Ignatius said he visited St. Matthew and asked if they needed help. I think he means Matthew Brestena. Yes, I think that is true. And Matthew Brestena didn't want to make any more bishops for a synod, kind of like St. Chrysostomos, and as Ignatius says, and he asked if bishops want, he can stay with them. Sunrise says Bartholomew will call an ecumenical council the ecumenism. Well, just refer to what Archbishop Verki said about the 8th Ecumenical Council. It'll be the council that legalized ecumenism. Mystic Matt, and he was murdered by the KGB. I think everyone that acknowledges that, St. Nikolai, that is. Yes, he was murdered by the Ozna, which was the Yugoslav version of the KGB. They poisoned him, just like how they poisoned St. Varnava Libertyville, and how they poisoned Hieromartyr Varnava I of Serbia, and how they poisoned Blessed Nicodim Milash in 1915. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications writes, there is a news clip on the Orthodox Archive from the Orthodox Typos 1971 that talks about Justin Popovic being a non-commemorator. Yes, that is true. Voltboy says, how can someone who did such a canonical violation be a saint? What do you mean canonical violation? What canonical violation did... Are you talking about St. Justin Popovic or St. Nikolai Vimirovich? Who are you talking about? Ignatiev writes, St. Nikolai was poisoned like many before. Yes, he was. There's no doubt about that. The story I personally heard about St. Nikolai was he was in a cell. He was perfectly fine. He went and had trapeza, and he was praying, and then he just died suddenly. He just was found on the floor, like he was standing up one moment, like he was fine, and just fell over. Very clear sign of poisoning. Voltboy, Matthew. Okay, Matthew Brestena. Well, Arsena, the Roac, we don't recognize Matthew Brestena as being a saint, but I do call him of blessed memory. And canonical violation, are you talking about the consecration? Because that wasn't really done by Matthew. That was done by Miriam Sualakos and 2 priests. And yes, that was a mockery, but that wasn't really Matthew Brestena. Yes, Ignatia writes, people don't know history. For Ustin was normal to stay in Yugoslavia because he never supported anything from war or either side. Nikolai was 100% anti-communist. That is completely correct. Ignatia also writes, he supported every side who fought against the Bolsheviks. Yes, he supported the Logyurichi, the Nirichi, the Chetniki, the Chetnisi. He supported anyone that rose up against communism, so to speak, which is controversial these days, but alas. Once again, the comments have dried up here, unless they're still trying to come through. We're almost on our 3rd hour here. We're at the 2-hour and 45-minute mark. I will probably head out at the 3-hour mark because it's quite late and I need to work in the morning. But yes, I'm here to talk since now. Father Joseph and Father Boniface have kind of left me here to answer questions and whatnot. This is interesting.
No. I'm here. I'm literally If you could see what's going on my side, I'm trying to actually upload a folder onto the cafe. It's about 1,600 files.
Oh, wow.
And I'm
Yes,
doing
take
the
your time,
install. I was
Paul.
hoping my web guy would be here, but he's not. So I'm doing that myself here.
Sunrise, right.
But it's going really fast, so it should be done within the next few seconds.
Oh, glory to God. Yes, Sunrise, right.
We actually invited a tape. We invited a tape bro to debate, but a tape bro to debate, yeah. Yeah, that's actually why I chose the image that I did, because I thought a tape bro was coming. He said he would, but he never showed up.
Yes. Well, I don't know anything about Andrew Tate. I was probably the last person in the world to ever hear about him. I heard that he was gonna go to prison.
There's not much to know.
Everyone's like, "Oh, Andrew Tate got arrested." I was like, "Who? Am I supposed to know who that is?" Yes. Ignatius writes, if you read St. Nikolai from 1920 and then from 1935, you can see that he repented and picked the right side. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Mystic Matt says, what color is your Bugatti for the Joseph? I don't know. I don't think he owns Bugatti. Bugatti. What color is your Bugatti? I don't think he owns one. Mine is transparent because I also don't own one, and I'm pretty sure Father Boniface doesn't own one either.
What is a Bugatti?
It's a really expensive car, but they confiscated his Bugatti in Romania.
It's a overpriced car. Honestly, Ferrari is better. Let's be honest here. Everyone hates to admit it. Ferrari
I thank you for letting me know.
Yes.
I'll buy a Ferrari instead.
Yeah, well, I'm sure when we're all just rolling in money.
Debate Bishop Sanborn or Richard Williamson. How about they come here? No, everyone has like suggestions for a debate, but like
Bishop Williamson,
to come here. We're here every week. We don't go anywhere.
Bishop Williamson won't join the chat. I can almost guarantee you that. He just won't talk to us. Now, I actually knew Bishop Williamson. I met him once when I was with SSPX, and Sunrise Roads. All right, debate Pope Francis. Yeah, we're going to set that up next week. Mystic Max says, "LOL. Mine is also non-existent." Yeah. That Russian Orthodox writes, Andrew Tate is a gigachat. I'm pretty sure he's just a serial rapist. Ignatius writes, can you take one night to debate about icon fighters in early church history? That would be an interesting topic, actually. Anthony writes, a debate against Pope Francis would be insane. Well, he wouldn't debate. He would just agree with us and say, this, because he would just hope they would join him. Sunrise says, Peter Diamond versus Pope Francis debate, please. We'll go ask Peter Diamond. Actually, if you could, go ask Peter Diamond to debate us. But sure. Jean writes, good evening all. Good evening, Jean. Very good to see you as usual. Chat's kind of slow here. With Bishop Sanborn, I've heard the name, but I don't know who that is. I know who
he's a sedevacantist. I believe, is he referring to the sedevacantist who was in Florida but moved up to Pennsylvania?
I think so, yes. I think it is that Sanborn. I don't know anything about him. I know who Williamson is, of course. But yes, Jean writes, I don't think Francis does online debates, guys. Yep, we need to pack it up and go home. Jean always trying to ruin our fun with online debating. Always at it, Gene. Volt Boy says, debate Dr. Michael Brown. I thought that was the guy that invented the time machine in Back to the Future. I don't know who that is.
Michael Brown is, I think, no, I'm trying to think who they're talking about. I think they're talking about, or am I confusing him with a different guy? The writer, the Roman Catholic writer. But in any case, all right, now I'm a little annoyed.
Since I was Roman Catholic, I don't know. Mystic Matt says, yeah, Sanborn founded the Society of Pius V. Oh, okay, it's that guy. I was never with SSPV, though I did hear about them. Ignatius writes, if it is possible, I'd like to hear opinion from Vladika Enoch about early fighters against iconography. Just as a spoiler, a lot of them weren't really against iconography. They kind of disapproved of it, like the Synod the Synod they had in Hispania in like 301. They didn't want icons and go ahead.
He might be talking about he might actually be talking about the early iconoclasts in the 7th and 8th century.
Oh, okay. Well, like with the Synod in Hispania, there's not much there. They didn't want icons in churches because when the pagans captured these buildings, they didn't want the icons to be destroyed. So it was more of a optics thing than anything. Ignatius says because it's coming from West bishops. Well, Vladika Enoch knows both the Eastern Rite and the Western Rite, I think. James says he's a Jewish convert to Christianity, Messianic Jew. I guess he's talking about Michael Brown, I guess. That Russian Orthodox says thoughts on the Ethiopian Bible. I have friends that are obsessed over it. If you're talking about like the Book of Enoch stuff, the Book of Jubilees stuff, well, those books are heretical. They're not canon. The Ethiopians, they had a weird thing with their canon. They'll basically accept anything as canonical because there's not really much. We were talking about like the old Gehez Bibles from like the time of Saint Isana. I'm sure those are fine, but like the modern Ethiopian canon has got all these fake works in it that were never part of Orthodox tradition. Tikon Fried writes, will the Typica Instructional be coming out soon or did I miss it? I thought it already came out, but I'm not sure.
I actually was going to do a more complex one, which was going to involve different levels of doing the Typica. And what I mean by that is the number of books that you have. Okay, something has happened here. This is interesting. Continue.
Ignatius writes, in the life of Saint Ossi of Cordoba, we can see that almost all bishops before first ecumenical meeting were against icons. That doesn't sound right. I mean, I know like Saint Irenaeus of Lyons, he wasn't even really a big fan of iconography, but even he had to admit that it was part of Orthodox tradition. As he mentioned, Saint Bernice, the woman with the issue of blood, she melted her pagan idols of silver and made a statue of Christ that worked miracles in the 1st and 2nd centuries. So even Saint Irenaeus of Lyons had to admit, he wasn't a big fan of iconography, that it was absolutely part of Christian tradition from the very beginning. So that doesn't sound right. I would have to say, what translation of St. Ossi of Cordoba's life are you reading? Because it could be some weird post-schism translation. Mystic Matt, talking about the Ethiopian Bible, says people like exotic things, and that's why they're obsessed with things like the Ethiopian Bible, what have you. Also hesychasm, but it's like you go to church twice a year and you want to be a hesychast. Yes, a lot of these people are obsessed with exoticism and stuff of this sort, and why? Like, okay, like it's like the flat earth stuff. Like, what good does it do you? Okay. Ignatius writes, no, St. Ossi was defending what Western land bishops from Spain and France were against it. That actually makes sense.
Defending, I might have missed the context. What are we talking about with St. Osius?
That Western bishops were against iconography prior to the First Ecumenical Council. That makes sense. I think I know what he's talking about. Vladika Enoch would be a better person to ask about that.
Yeah.
Which, if he has a show this week, that'll probably be a good question for a show.
He has a few. Yeah, he's got a few things this week. So.
Oh, good, very good. Vault Boy says,
we're going to talk about Amendment 4 tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Glory to God. People need to hear about it. Absolutely.
Well, even though it's in Florida, these issues are spreading throughout the USA. So
yeah, they're trying to
stay tuned.
Yeah, they're trying to see where they can get it done first. And if they can get it done in Florida, then they can probably do it other places as well.
Well, they've done it in Ohio, I think, and then a couple other states. So anyway, but Florida's going to be a serious problem because Florida's been a fairly good state in a lot of ways. But if they open up the door for this, then it's just going to go downhill big time.
Yes. Vault Boy writes, win, which is W-E-N, one night for Saint Ambrose in Filioque.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered stuff like that. I mean, if Bishop Enoch wants to do a show on St. Ambrose in the Filioque, he's more than welcome to. He's a lot of the quotes supposedly that are Filioquist are usually interpolations. I mean, most of the
interpolations are out of context. Yeah.
The question presupposes that there's something we need to answer for, when in reality, it's actually our opponents who usually have to explain why we should accept their interpolations.
Yes. Or they're just out of context, like St. Mark of Ephesus talking about hypostatic procession. Even the saints that did write that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son, they didn't mean hypostatic procession like Roman Catholics use it today, which is a heresy. Because even the Sigillian, the same council that produced the Sigillian of 1583 that condemned the Gregorian calendar, said that the Holy Spirit does proceed from the Father and Son in time, but no, it's just goofy. Mystic Man says, yes, sadly they did do it in Ohio, Lord have mercy. Ignatia writes, Saint Ossi and Tertullian is one of my favorite saints. Is that Tertullian of Carthage? Because Tertullian of Carthage was a heretic. He died outside the church and he warred against the church. If we're talking about like Saint Tertullian Bologna, then yes, he is a saint. But the famous Tertullian is not a saint.
Yeah, he's not considered a saint of the church.
He was a heretic. He was with a Novatianist. Vault Boy says, win debate with some WO bishop. I don't know.
Whenever they show up.
Yeah, whenever they show up. We're still here. They can debate us anytime. Sunrise, isn't there that guy in the OCA that thinks Origen is a saint? Yes, Alexander Golitsyn. He's said it multiple times.
Yeah,
that's actually a pretty standard position in the OCA, that they think Origen. I mean, look at that David Bentley Hart guy. Yes, I'm just looking at comments here, and nothing is coming in at the moment. Vault Boy, Jonah and Rokor think so too. Probably. I mean, Jonah thinks Francis of Assisi is a saint. Jonah Buchhausen.
Yeah, he's also implied that he's kind of made implications about universalism. Gene said he said something like Origen was a wonderful, incomparably talented saint. That would not surprise me.
There was some incident with Metropolitan Jonah. I remember Fyodor's talked about it once or twice, or Fyodor down here in Louisiana, that Metropolitan Jonah had like a heat stroke in Alaska, like during the middle of winter or something.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty impressive to have a heat stroke in the middle of winter in Alaska. And, I mean, probably a sign of something. I can't say for certain, but I mean, yeah, we could talk about that. But I think that video that one guy put out about Metropolitan Jonah Buchhausen is probably the best video out there. You know, the guy was trying to say that world Orthodoxy isn't corrupted by this stuff, but sure. Sunrise says, yeah.
Well, guys, I have some good news and bad news. The good news is we have successfully upgraded the license to the chat on the cafe. The bad news is that I'm not quite competent to install things like this, so I broke the chat. And there's still the old chat, but the new chat, which is updated, I am going to have to give to the web guy. And since he hasn't answered me, I assume that he is asleep, which is completely understandable and normal. And I want to thank everyone who helped us reach that 400 today, and we were able to reach that for the cafe. And hopefully within the next 48 hours or so, we should have a working version, and we will be able to do some amazing things. I am so sorry for those who were waiting that I wasn't able to do it myself. I saw the easy to follow instructions, and I guess they weren't that easy. Sava, continue.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm still going. I thought, let's finish up here.
Oh yeah, let's finish up these comments. We're closed now on comments, guys. So
Okay,
these are
well,
that's about it.
Okay, so I guess we'll end with Vault Boy's comment. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, there we go. There we go. We have the big yellow bar, like at the grocery store. Okay, of course, you already read James' comments. Sunrise says, yeah, people in WO seem to claim Origen was falsely condemned, but reading the anathemas, it's pretty clear why he was condemned. There's also the fact that ecumenical councils are infallible. So they're saying that ecumenical councils aren't infallible, thus denying the very basis of the Orthodox faith. Ignatia writes, Cappadocian fathers are also good. I think everyone should read it. I agree. The Cappadocian fathers are basis for much of the theology here in the East, like St. John Chrysostom, St. Gregory of Nyssa, St. Basil the Great, and St. Gregory the Theologian, and a few other smaller fathers that too many people don't talk about, smaller being lesser known. That Russian Orthodox says, I heard a story from a Catholic family had a vision from Francis of Assisi and told them that Orthodoxy was real and the papists were still in denial. I seriously doubt that. Sunrise says, yeah, ecumenists like to promote that story, I'm sure. It sounds about it. Mystic Matt says, yes, and that he was seen with Seraphim Sarov, and Francis said, you must unite yourself to the true church. Yeah, I've heard that one. That was one that was promoted by Pope John Paul II. No, St. Seraphim Sarov condemned these people as heretics. He had nothing to do with the papists. And of course, our last comment, well, boy, the Moscow Patriarchate probably doesn't consider Nestorius as a heretic. Yes, they don't, because they are willing to steal our churches in Suzdal with the Russian Orthodox Autonomous Church and give them to Nestorians. So, probably not. They probably think Nestorius is a saint, because the Nestorians to this day still use the anaphora of Saint Nestorius in their liturgy. So, tacitly, they say yes.
So is that? I think that's everyone then, right?
That's everyone.
All right. Yep. Thank you, Father Antonio. He says it's not a failure. Father figured out one way it doesn't work. That's a nice way of putting it, but unfortunately, I feel like a failure because it's not live now. All right. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank both Sava and Father Boniface for being here. I want to thank all our listeners. I want to thank all those who asked questions and had comments. I want to thank everybody who gave super chats. I want to thank everybody who donated to the cafe because you were able to make that purchase possible. We're gonna see big new things happening in the next few days. So again, I wanted to say thank you. As always, support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Our community is what keeps us going. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net, on GiveSendGo, or on Odyssey. We remember all of you in our prayers, and thank you for all the support for NFTU. And as always, if this is helpful to you, please like and subscribe.